Chapter 36:12. Who doesn't have the desire to win? Let's talk about you. Your desire to win is even greater than hers. But white-eyed wolf, you brat, you're really something. You actually helped her secretly. Qin Feiyang snickered. Help her? Don't talk nonsense. Why would I help her? Don't slander my innocence. White-eyed wolf snorted coldly. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Still stubbornly refusing to admit it? Let's see how long you can pretend. Sister, you're amazing. Princess Huafeng exited the inner area and closed the Fire Phoenix domain. She looked a little older. Pyrotechnic glow immediately went up and laughed. Of course. Princess Huafeng subconsciously glanced at White-Eyed Wolf and said proudly. This subconscious action directly confirmed that the person who secretly helped her was White-Eyed Wolf. Seeing through it, Qin Feiyang didn't say anything and looked up at the inner area. The dust and smoke dispersed. The young man appeared, but he was unscathed. Because there was a fiery red barrier around him at this time. Daifuku whispered, "This is the Kirin clan's forbidden technique, Kirin domain." Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a faint smile, "It seems that none of the clans in the forbidden area are easy to provoke." These words are sarcastic. Daifuku shook his head and smiled bitterly. If it was someone else, this forbidden technique was indeed invincible. But in front of Qin Feiyang, this little guy, it was meaningless. Because even Fire Dragon's super forbidden technique couldn't hurt Qin Feiyang. A super forbidden technique was already a true forbidden technique. Except for the sovereign divine weapon, it could crush everything. Princess Huafeng. Looking at the young man again. He looked at Princess Huafeng with a trace of surprise in his eyes. Suddenly, he closed the Kirin domain and stepped in front of Princess Huafeng. He smiled and said, "I like you. Please be my girlfriend. I promise to treat you well." What the hell? Princess Huafeng was stunned. The Daifuku brothers, Qin Feiyang, White-Eyed Wolf, and Pyrotechnic Glow were also stunned. What's going on? Why was he confessing in the middle of the fight? How direct? When Qin Feiyang came back to his senses, he couldn't help but glance at the ingrate from the corner of his eyes. He discovered that the ingrate's expression was unsightly at this moment. Interesting. Suddenly, a love rival appeared out of nowhere. Let's see if you still want to pretend now. You're crazy. Princess Huafeng reacted and immediately glared at the young man. You, angry's Titus, to let me introduce myself. My name is Chiyu. I'm a peerless genius of the Fire Kirin clan. I'm a little genius of the Kirin clan and you're the princess of the Feng people, so we're a perfect match. Chiyu looked at her with admiration. Get lost. Princess Huafeng's face darkened. Little genius? Perfect match? She had never seen such a shameless person. Don't be so cold. Although our two clans have always had a grudge, it doesn't affect our relationship. Besides, if we really get married, it can also ease the dispute between our two clans. The little demon Chiyu laughed mischievously. No need. Princess Fire Phoenix turned her head away. She felt annoyed just by looking at him. Chiyu, don't joke around. This is disrespectful to the princess of the Fire Phoenix clan. Daifuku raised his eyebrows. I'm not joking. I mean it. I really like her. If you don't believe me, I'll ask the clan leader to propose marriage to the Feng people now. Chi said. Propose marriage? Daifuku's mouth twitched. Is this kid crazy? He's going to propose marriage before they even started? The White-Eyed Wolf suddenly asked Daifuku, judging from your reaction just now, you seem to know this little genius? Qin Feiyang was stunned when he heard that. He glanced at the White-Eyed Wolf in amusement. You can't sit still anymore, right? Daifuku was also stunned. He glanced at Chiyu and nodded. I do know him, but this is the first time I've seen him in person. According to the clan leader, the Fire Kirin clan views him as their future pillar and has been carefully protecting him. It seems that I'm quite famous. But there's no other way. It's hard for a talented and handsome person like me to be unknown. In short, being too outstanding is also a kind of trouble. Chiyu laughed proudly. I'm convinced. Princess Huafeng shook her head and sighed. Finally, I've seen a guy more narcissistic and shameless than the White-Eyed Wolf. Since you're convinced, then agree to marry me. Besides, look at this world. Besides me, who else is worthy of you? Chiyu bared his teeth. Don't push your luck. Pyrotechnic Glow glared at Chiyu. Why is he so annoying? Am I? If I really push my luck and start to snatch you, wait. Who are you? Who are you to interrupt? Chiyu raised his eyebrows and looked at Pyrotechnic Glow with disdain. When Huazihui heard this, he was instantly enraged. Daifuku stopped Pyrotechnic Glow and said with a smile, as a member of the Kirin clan, you actually don't know my prince. Prince Chi is really humorous. His prince? Chiyu was slightly stunned and said in surprise, is he Wuer's brother, Pyrotechnic Glow? Yes. Daifuku nodded. Chiyu quickly looked at Pyrotechnic Glow and said with an apologetic smile, I'm sorry, my future brother-in-law, I'm blind. Who can accept you as my brother-in-law? Do you have any shame? Are all the members of the Fire Kirin clan like you? Pyrotechnic Glow sneered. Chiyu's eyes turned cold and he said with a smile, brother-in-law, you'd better watch your words. If my clansmen hear such words, I'm afraid a disaster will come. Afraid of you? Pyrotechnic Glow sneered. Haha, my future brother-in-law is really brave. Chiyu laughed. However, there was a trace of contempt on his face. Qin Feiyang glanced at the white-eyed wolf. When the white-eyed wolf spoke, he thought that the white-eyed wolf was going to make a move, but he didn't expect that the wolf would remain silent. He even acted as if it had nothing to do with him and didn't care. What was this guy thinking? If he liked her, just do it. Why force himself? What are you looking at? This is their business. What does it have to do with me? The white-eyed wolf noticed Qin Feiyang's gaze and immediately glared at him. Looking at the white-eyed wolf's attitude, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but waver. Had he really misunderstood the white-eyed wolf all this time? Did he really not like Princess Huafeng? He didn't understand. Qin Feiyang shook his head and sighed. He looked up at Chiyu and said with a faint smile, Chiyu, right? Yes. Chiyu nodded and turned to look at Qin Feiyang. He said with a smile, Qin Feiyang, I've heard a lot about you. You flatter me. Compared to Prince Chi, I'm still far behind. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and smiled. Look, look, look. This is a person who knows his own limits. Chiyu laughed. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows slightly. This person seemed to be a little too arrogant, but he didn't say anything. He said with a smile, just now, I heard from Prince Chi that only the white-eyed wolf and I can enter the inner area. May I ask what that means? I just said that you know your own limits. How did you become so stupid all of a sudden? I let you and the white-eyed wolf go in so that you can see the horror of the cold current in the inner area so that you can retreat. Chiyu sneered. Stupid? The Daifuku brothers, Princess Huafeng, and Pyrotechnic Glow all looked at Chiyu in astonishment. Doesn't this person know Qin Feiyang's means? How dare he provoke him again and again in public? A trace of killing intent appeared in the white-eyed wolf's eyes. He's clearly courting death. Qin Feiyang looked at Chiyu and said with a smile, I see. It seems that I'm really stupid. I thought you were going to deny it. I didn't expect you to admit it so quickly. Good, good. You're very sensible. Chiyu nodded and praised him. Qin Feiyang chuckled and looked at Chiyu. He said, since I accept my own stupidity, Prince Chi, why don't you tell me where your courage to be so arrogant comes from? The Daifuku brothers felt a chill in their hearts. There was killing intent hidden in the smile. Pyrotechnic Glow also immediately folded his hands, ready to enjoy a good show. Chiyu was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Qin Feiyang to suddenly ask such a question. Maybe you'll tell me that your courage comes from the Kirin clan behind you. Of course, it's true that with the Kirin Holy Land behind you, you have the right to be arrogant. But in my opinion, your courage comes from your ignorance. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Chiyu's face darkened. Qin Feiyang smiled slowly and said, do you know how many people have been arrogant in front of me? Do you know how many people have been trampled under my feet? I don't like to cause trouble and I don't want to make a big deal out of it. But there's a premise which is mutual respect. But now I don't see any respect in you. Haha, you're really arrogant. Hearing this, Chiyu raised his head and laughed. No, I'm being polite. But there's a limit to everything. If this limit is exceeded, then it's unforgivable. As Qin Feiyang's voice fell, a cold light immediately emerged in his eyes. Everyone thought that Qin Feiyang was going to attack, but Qin Feiyang grabbed the white-eyed wolf and threw him at Chiyu. What are you doing? The white-eyed wolf said angrily. You're too low-key now. This is not your character. Qin Feiyong pursed his lips. The white-eyed wolf scolded angrily, damn. Haven't you always complained that I've caused trouble for you? It's fine now. You can make trouble. Qin Feiyong laughed. Obviously you're too lazy to do it. The white-eyed wolf snorted coldly in his heart, looked up at Qiyu and laughed, arrogant, right? Well, now I'll let you taste the price of being arrogant. After that, he slapped with his paw. You're courting death. A cold light flashed in Qiyu's eyes and he threw a punch. He's going to fight the white-eyed wolf head-on? Pyrotechnic Glow was stunned. Didn't he know what happened on White Crane Island? Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang, the white-eyed wolf's terrifying strength and physical body completely crushed Qiyu. Qiyu flew out on the spot, his arm shattered, and his flesh and blood splattered everywhere. What? Qiyu was shocked. What a terrifying strength. An ant dares to jump in front of us. You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. The white-eyed wolf took a step forward, activated Moment of Time, and instantly appeared behind Qiyu, and slashed with his paw. Chapter 36:13. So fast. This is the supreme mystery of the law of time. The rumors are true. The golden-winged wolf king is not someone to be trifled with. The hundreds of people and ferocious beasts that surrounded Qin Feiyong were all shocked and terrified. Boom! Faced with the white-eyed wolf's terrifying speed, Qiyu had no ability to react at all. He was blasted away on the spot, bleeding profusely. How dare you call yourself a peerless monster with such little strength? Little Qin Zi said you were ignorant. That's a compliment. The white-eyed wolf's face was full of disdain. He grabbed at the air with his claws, and the void within a radius of millions of miles immediately collapsed, turning into a giant hand that covered the sky. With a destructive aura, it slammed toward Qiyu. With another loud bang, Qiyu smashed into the glacier below like a meteorite. The supreme mystery of the law of time and space. Everyone's eyes trembled. This was a real peerless monster. In front of the golden-winged wolf king, Qiyu was simply a joke. Well done. Pyrotechnic Glow couldn't help but applaud loudly. He could finally vent the resentment that he had been suppressing in his heart. Your Highness. Daifuku stared at Pyrotechnic Glow. What? To tell you the truth, you did a good job. Pyrotechnic Glow's face was full of schadenfreude. Daifuku smiled bitterly and said, I know you feel wronged, but you are different from Qin Feiyong and the others. You are the prince of the phone people. You can't show anything. How can there be so many taboos? Besides, he came to humiliate me first. Pyrotechnic Glow snorted coldly. Daifuku looked helpless. But suddenly, he turned his head to look at Princess Huafeng, and his heart couldn't help but tremble, because he found that the way the first princess looked at the white-eyed wolf seemed to be a little different. Swish! The white-eyed wolf activated momentary time again, and landed in front of Qiyu. He stepped on Qiyu's head and pressed it against the ground. He sneered and said, This is the first time I've seen such a weak monster. Bastard! Qiyu roared and shouted, Don't just watch. Come out and kill it. The white-eyed wolf was taken aback. He scanned his surroundings. Was there someone else hiding in the dark? Before he finished speaking, he saw a few figures appeared in the void not far away. There were a total of 9 people. There were men and women, all of them young. Their cultivation had reached the peak dominator realm. It's them. Daifuku Qin Feiyong curiously sized up the 9 people. Their cultivations were not bad, but their eyes that looked down on everything in the world made him feel uncomfortable. Daifuku whispered, There are a total of 10 races in the Qilin race. They are the princes and princesses of the various races. So many? Qin Feiyong was surprised. The Fire Qilin is the leader, followed by the Blood Qilin, Earth Qilin, Gold Qilin, Water Qilin, Wood Qilin, Ink Qilin, Wind Qilin, Snow Qilin and Thunder Qilin. Daifuku explained secretly. It's a little beyond my imagination. Qin Feiyong was amazed. This was not inferior to the dragons. Suddenly, a figure appeared in his mind and he asked, What about the White Jade Qilin? Daifuku said, Strictly speaking, the White Jade Qilin is a mutation, so it's not considered part of the Qilin race. Moreover, the Qilin race looks down on the mutated White Jade Qilin. I see. Qin Feiyong nodded in realization, then frowned and said, just because it's a mutation they look down on it. Of course. After all, it's not the orthodox Qilin bloodline. Daifuku nodded. Interesting. The corner of Qin Feiyong's mouth lifted slightly. Look down on it, right? In the future, I will let you see the power of the White Jade Qilin. Because he had a White Jade Qilin beside him. As his most important partner, he naturally had to prove the White Jade Qilin's reputation. Kill it. Qiyu roared. The 9 people standing in the inner area immediately activated their profound laws. Qin Feiyong found that each of these people had mastered a type of supreme law. However, he did not see any supreme profound laws. Without any supreme profound laws, there was nothing to worry about. No, even if they had supreme profound laws, these 9 people were not qualified to compete with the white-eyed wolf. The supreme profound laws of the 5 supreme laws, was it a joke to them? How dare you offend the divine power of the Qilin clan? You really don't know what death is. The 9 people roared, and all the profound laws suddenly turned into a torrent and attacked the white-eyed wolf. No matter how many there are, they are just ants. The white-eyed wolf said domineeringly. With a wave of its claws, the god of destruction appeared, stood proudly in the sky, and punched out. Rumble. Accompanied by a deafening noise, all the profound laws and magical powers were immediately annihilated. What? The supreme profound law of destruction? What kind of monster is this? Not only the hundreds of people and beasts, but even the 9 princes and princesses of the Qilin clan were shocked. Pyrotechnic Glow's heart trembled, and he murmured, Sister, I suddenly realized that Brother Wolf is a perfect match for you. Princess Huafeng's cheeks turned red, and she raised her arm angrily, knocked Pyrotechnic Glow's head, and said angrily, What nonsense are you talking about? Really? Look at Brother Wolf, so domineering. Although he's usually a little mean, he's very kind. Pyrotechnic Glow lowered his head, feeling wronged. You're still talking about it. Princess Huafeng shouted angrily. Pyrotechnic Glow shrank his head and turned to look at the Daifuku brothers. Your Highness, you can't joke about this. Daifuku said telepathically. I'm not joking. Haven't you noticed that Sister is actually interested in Brother Wolf? Pyrotechnic Glow said secretly. You're still talking about it? Daifuku's face also darkened, and he glared at Pyrotechnic Glow, then looked down at the white-eyed wolf below. To be honest, the white-eyed wolf's strength was really amazing. However, after all, it was just a wolf, and its bloodline power was much weaker than that of the Feng people. In the blink of an eye, the god of destruction shattered all the profound laws and directly charged into the inner area. The 9 princes and princesses of the Kirin clan couldn't help but turn pale. Buzz. Almost at the same time, a domain appeared around them. This was the Kirin domain. Boom! The god of destruction attacked, but it didn't cause any damage to them. At the same time, Qiyu, who was under the foot of the white-eyed wolf, also burst into flames, and a fiery red Kirin domain appeared. The white-eyed wolf retreated a few steps, looked at the Kirin domain on the 10 people, and couldn't help but frown slightly. Qiyu got up and looked at the white-eyed wolf, his eyes flashing with killing intent, and sneered. No matter how strong you are, can you break our Kirin domain? Pyrotechnic Glow said, Brother Wolf, don't be afraid. The Kirin domain needs vitality as the price. Slowly exhaust them to death. Brother-in-law, you're courting death. Qiyu looked up at Pyrotechnic Glow, his eyes cold and piercing. The supreme law of fire activated, and a heavenly fire appeared, wildly attacking the Pyrotechnic Glow. Daifuku raised his eyebrows and activated the supreme law of time and space. The ice crystal fragments roared out like a torrent, and the heavenly fire was annihilated on the spot. Then, Daifuku looked down at Qiyu and said with a murderous aura, This is the last time. If you dare to attack Her Highness again, don't blame me for not showing mercy and killing you on the spot. Humph! Qiyu snorted, looked at the 9 people in the inner area, and shouted, Kill this stupid wolf. Let it know the price of provoking the Kirin clan. The 9 people nodded. All the laws and profound laws were activated, and with a monstrous murderous aura, they attacked the white-eyed wolf. Qin Dage, aren't you going to help? Pyrotechnic Glow looked at Qin Feiyong and asked. Help? Qin Feiyong couldn't help but laugh, and he said indifferently, You're underestimating your big brother wolf too much. Can a mere Chilean region withstand it? Pyrotechnic Glow was surprised. The white-eyed wolf glanced at Chiyu and the other 9 people, then looked up at Qin Feiyong and said, "Can I really do as I please?" "Of course." Qin Feiyong nodded. Hee, the white-eyed wolf smiled ferociously, and with a wave of his hand, the supreme law of time and space was activated, shattering Chiyu and the others' laws and profound laws. Then a golden beast shadow roared out, as tall as the sky, like a divine beast descending to earth. Everyone present could not help but feel a sense of fear from the depths of their souls. What is this? Why can even this old man feel a sense of oppression? Daifuku was surprised. Not only Daifuku but even Xiaofu, Princess Huafeng, Pyrotechnic Glow, and Chiyu felt the same. This oppression seemed to come from the bloodline power. Suddenly, they looked at the beasts behind them and found that these beasts were already crawling on the ground, shivering. Why is this happening? It's as if the sovereign of all beasts is standing in front of me. These beasts roared in their hearts. They didn't want to crawl on the ground, but they couldn't control themselves. The golden beast's shadow was like a towering mountain, almost suffocating them. Daifuku retracted his gaze and looked up at the golden beast's shadow. At this moment, even he had a throbbing desire to kneel on the ground and worship it. In his mind, a terrifying thought emerged. Could it be that the bloodline power of the golden-winged wolf king was not inferior to the Feng people? It might even be above the Feng people? No, absolutely impossible. How could there be a bloodline power that surpassed the Feng people? But the white-eyed wolf turned a blind eye to all of this. He lowered his head and looked at Chiyu, grinning, "Peerless little demon, right? Now I will throw you into the abyss and make you regret provoking us for the rest of your life." Strip. With the white-eyed wolf's roar, the War Soul's third ability was activated. The third innate divine ability was the ability to strip away laws. That's right. It wanted to strip away Chiyu's law of fire. No, it wanted to strip away all of Chiyu's laws, making him feel despair and pain. With the arrival of a mighty aura, Chiyu suddenly felt the power of the various laws breaking out of his body uncontrollably. What was this? Golden-winged Wolf King, please show mercy. At this moment, there was a shout from the slaughter zone. Before the voice died away, an old woman in a fiery red robe broke through the air like lightning. Her wrinkled face was full of anxiety. Qi Wang. It is said that she is Chiyu's guardian. Daifuku's pupils contracted. Chiyu's guardian? Qin Feiyong was slightly taken aback and asked, "Is she the so-called follower?" "Yes." Daifuku nodded and said, "She is not weaker than me." "So what?" Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and took a step forward in front of Qi Yueying. Qi Yueying stopped and hurriedly said, "Qin Feiyong, this is a misunderstanding. Please ask the Golden-Winged Wolf King to stop." Chapter 36:14. With Qi Yueying's arrival, will he give up? Princess Huafeng frowned. It should be. After all, Qi Yueying is Chiyu's guardian and is currently the strongest person here. She can completely represent the Kirin clan. Qin Feiyong still has to give her face. Daifuku whispered. However, without waiting for them to finish their words, Qin Feiyong said indifferently, "Chiyu has provoked us time and time again without any scruples. Can you just let it go with a misunderstanding?" Princess Huafeng and Daifuku heard this and looked at each other. They didn't expect him to be so domineering. He was indeed Qin Feiyong. Even if the elders of the Kirin clan came, he didn't give them any face. Qi Yueying's face also sank slightly, and there was a trace of anger in her eyes. The Kirin clan was the lord of a restricted area. Even the dragons and Feng people had to give them face, let alone a mere human. This was completely challenging their dignity as the lord of the restricted area. The white-eyed wolf naturally wouldn't stop. It had always been lawless. Would it stop because of Qi Yueying's arrival? Obviously not. However, many people didn't know what the white-eyed wolf wanted to do. Qi Yueying said in a deep voice, "Qin Feiyong, don't go too far. We are not outside now. We are in the Death Glacier, the territory of my Kirin clan." "I know you don't need to specifically remind me." Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. If it wasn't because they were in the Death Glacier, Chiyu's provocation wouldn't be as simple as depriving him of his law force. He would end his life on the spot. Qi Yueying heard this and clenched her hands hard. My law, what the hell are you doing? Stop it. Chiyu roared in horror. But the white-eyed wolf turned a deaf ear to him. Seeing this, Qi Weiing couldn't hold it in anymore. Boom! A terrifying aura erupted as the power of the three great laws roared out. They were the law of fire, the law of thunder, and one of the strongest laws of nature, the law of death. Since you're giving my Qilin clan face, then don't blame me for being impolite. As Qi Weiing's voice fell, the three great laws soared into the sky. The three great profound meanings were revealed, emitting a world-destroying divine might. So you've grasped three profound meanings. No wonder you're so arrogant. Qin Feiyang suddenly smiled. You asked for it. Qi Weiing said coldly. Her three supreme profound meanings immediately shot towards Qin Feiyang with an overflowing aura. Heaven and earth trembled involuntarily. That's all. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. The law of karma and the law of destruction, the two supreme profundities, appeared out of nowhere and crushed everything in their path. Accompanied by a loud bang, the law of thunder and the law of fire were shattered on the spot. Then the two supreme profundities blasted towards Qi Weiing's law of death. Yet another loud sound rang out. How could a mere paramount profound of the law of death possibly withstand two paramount profound of the supreme laws of death? It immediately collapsed in the void. Then, the two supreme profundities charged towards Qi Weiing. The law of karma and the law of destruction are indeed as powerful as the rumors say. Qi Weiing's face darkened. She had never seen Qin Feiyang's strength with her own eyes before. She had only heard a thing or two. At first she thought it was a little exaggerated. How could a human comprehend two supreme profundities at such a young age? But she didn't expect the rumors to be true. The current Qin Feiyang had become an ultimate expert that even the forbidden zones couldn't ignore. Boom! Just as the two supreme profundities were about to attack, Qi Weiing activated the Qilin domain and blocked the two supreme profundities. Then, a terrifying aura emerged from her body. Ruler divine weapon. That's right. The aura coming from Qi Weiing's body was the aura of a ruler divine weapon. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he stared at Qi Weiing and said, Are you sure you want to activate the ruler divine weapon? Qi Weiing looked at Qin Feiyang's eyes and couldn't help but feel a chill in her heart. It was as if a terrifying demon was about to awaken. She couldn't help but gulp. She turned to look at Qiyu, who was in extreme pain. Her heart was burning with anxiety. If she didn't activate the ruler divine weapon, how could she save His Highness? Moreover, even if she activated the ruler divine weapon, it would be useless, because she only brought one ruler divine weapon. Brother Qin, please calm down. Suddenly, a hoarse laugh was heard. An old man with a white beard stepped through the air and landed next to Qi Weiing. It's you. Qin Feiyang was shocked. That's right. This person was the storyteller from the tea abode. That's me. The white-bearded old man nodded and smiled. Qin Feiyang looked the white-bearded old man up and down for a while and said with a faint smile, I guessed you were not simple, but I didn't expect you to be from the Kirin clan. I believe Brother Qin also knows that once the people of the Forbidden Area are exposed to the outside world, it will inevitably cause a sensation, so I didn't mean to hide it. I hope you can forgive me. The white-bearded old man smiled apologetically. Is that so? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Since the white-bearded old man was from the Kirin clan, then the young master and Xiaoing of the tea abode were naturally from the Kirin clan. The white-bearded old man smiled embarrassedly. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said, This old man knows that even if this old man were to step forward, Brother Qin might not give this face. So this old man won't say any useless nonsense. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, You have a little self-awareness. The white-bearded old man laughed involuntarily and his face became slightly serious. Although Brother Qin won't give me face, I believe you will give it some face. Qin Feiyang frowned. The white-bearded old man waved his hand and the phantom of a fire Kirin appeared. Qin Feiyang's eyes suddenly trembled. Although fire Kirins looked similar, he could recognize the one in front of him at a glance. It was the fire Kirin he had been looking for, because this fire Kirin had always given him an inexplicable sense of familiarity. This was something that other fire Kirins could not replace. Is it? The white-eyed wolf also stared at the fire Kirin phantom, his eyes full of surprise. Yes. Qin Feiyong nodded. The white-bearded old man smiled. Brother Qin, will you give me face? Qin Feiyong was silent. Suddenly, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Are you using it to threaten me? Threaten? The white-bearded old man was stunned and hurriedly waved his hand. I wouldn't dare. It lives better than anyone in our Kirin clan. It can even be said that its status in the Kirin sacred ground is higher than Chiyu. Qin Feiyong was taken aback. How could it have such a high status? The white-bearded old man said. If this old man has half a lie, I will be punished by the heavens. Qin Feiyong's eyes flickered and nodded. Okay, I will believe you for the time being, but I have always abided by a principle. Since you have done something wrong, you have to pay the price. After that, Qin Feiyong turned to look at the white-eyed wolf and said, deprive Chiyu of the law of fire. As for the other princes and princesses, deprive them of a small realm of cultivation. Boring. The white-eyed wolf pursed his lips. He said that he could do whatever he wanted, but he still had to show mercy. However, he also knew that there was no other way. After all, the other party had already used the fire Kirin. He could not give face to others, but he had to give face to the fire Kirin. Deprive the law of fire? Deprive cultivation? Not far away, the hundreds of people and beasts all looked at the white-eyed wolf in surprise. How could such a thing be done? But soon, the truth was presented in front of them. Not only was Chiyu's law of fire forcibly deprived, but the other 9 people's cultivation was also deprived. Originally, they were all in the perfect dominator realm, but now they directly fell to the greater dominator realm. Everyone present was dumbfounded by what they saw. What kind of monster was this? It actually had such a heaven-defying ability. Even the Daifuku brothers, the white-bearded old man, and Qi Weiing couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. In terms of strength, Qin Feiyong now surpassed the white-eyed wolf. But, in terms of terrifying means, the white-eyed wolf far surpassed Qin Feiyong. Not to mention provoking it, it was best to take a detour when seeing it. My law of fire, my cultivation. Chiyu and the others didn't believe it at first and thought it was just to scare them. Because they didn't believe that there would be such a heaven-defying battle soul in this world. But when they saw that the law of fire and cultivation had not recovered for a long time, their bodies suddenly couldn't help but tremble. Why was Chiyu called a peerless monster? The reason was not only did he comprehend the law of destruction, but he also comprehended the supreme profound of the law of fire. But now the law of fire was deprived. To comprehend a supreme profound was more difficult than ascending to the heavens. This was not only a kind of glory, but also something to prove one's value. But now glory, status, and the pride of a monster were ruthlessly destroyed. How could he not be angry? Bastard, I'm going to kill you. With a roar like a mad beast, he pounced on the white-eyed wolf, his eyes full of resentment. The other 9 people also had a look of anger. Although they were only deprived of a small realm of cultivation and didn't lose their law of fire, to these high and mighty princesses and princes, this was a great humiliation. Moreover, in the sovereign realm, cultivation was also very important. For example, if they both comprehended the supreme profound or supreme profound, the person with the higher realm would completely crush the other. So seeing Chiyu's actions, the 9 people also pounced on the white-eyed wolf without care, their faces full of resentment. A bunch of ants want to overturn the heavens? The white-eyed wolf's face was full of disdain. He activated momentary time, and in the blink of an eye, the 10 people were sent flying and smashed into the glacier below in a sorry state. Qi Weiing came back to her senses and rushed to Chiyu's side. She looked up at the white-eyed wolf and shouted, "Golden-winged wolf king, you and I can't exist together." You. The white-eyed wolf smiled contemptuously and said indifferently, "If it weren't for the fire Qilin, do you think Chiyu would be able to keep the other law of fire?" Hearing this, Qi Weiing's body and mind trembled. The Fire Phoenix First Princess and the others were also bewildered. Could it be that this wolf cub planned to deprive Chiyu of all the law of fire from the beginning? Don't say. With this wolf cub's personality, it was really possible that he would do such a thing. Chapter 36:15. Irreconcilable. Are you serious about this sentence? Just when the group of people were surprised, a flat voice sounded. Although the voice was flat, everyone present could feel a shocking chill. Everyone looked at Qin Feiyang, because the person who spoke was Qin Feiyang. At this moment, Qin Feiyang looked down at Qi Yueing. In his calm eyes there seemed to be a storm. Qi Yueing looked at Qin Feiyang's eyes at this time, and she couldn't help but feel a sense of fear. Let me ask you, are you serious about this sentence? Qin Feiyang spoke again, still as calm as ever, but the atmosphere here instantly became extremely dignified, even suffocating. Qi Yueing looked at this scene and wanted to raise her head and puff out her chest to say yes, but she seemed to have lost her courage and didn't have the courage. The white-bearded old man saw that the situation was not good and quickly stepped forward with a smile. Brother Qin, it is still waiting for you in the Qilin Holy Land, and in addition to it, there are 3 of your old friends. The so-called it was naturally the Fire Qilin. 3 old friends. Qin Feiyang was stunned. That's right. The white-bearded old man nodded, opened a space-time transmission artifact, stepped aside, and said with a smile, Brother Qin, Brother Wolf King, please. The white-eyed wolf stepped beside Qin Feiyang and looked at the white-bearded old man with a frown. Are you sure you are not fooling us? Can't we trust each other more? The white-bearded old man smiled bitterly. Trust you? The white-eyed wolf sneered. None of these people in the forbidden area were trustworthy. Let's go and have a look. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. Wasn't the purpose of this trip the Fire Qilin? Now that there was this opportunity, naturally, he would go to the Qilin Holy Land to have a look. Qindage, what about us? Pyrotechnic Glow hurriedly said. Qin Feiyang glanced at Princess Huafeng and the others before turning to the white-bearded old man. The white-bearded old man laughed hoarsely. Since Brother Qin brought him here, he is naturally an honored guest of my Qilin clan. You sure have a lot of face. Princess Huafeng pouted. Even she, the eldest princess of the Fire Phoenix clan, could not compare to Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf. This made her very unconvinced. Immediately after, they stepped into the space-time teleportation divine artifact. The white-bearded old man glanced at Qi Yu and the others, shook his head, and ran in after them. Of all the people he could provoke, he just had to provoke Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf. Wasn't he just asking to be humiliated? I won't let them off, absolutely not. Qi Yu stared at the dissipating space-time teleportation divine tool, with a ferocious expression. Yes, all of you must die. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of the other 9 people. Qi Yueing glanced at the 10 people and raised her head to look at the people and beasts who were watching. Suddenly, killing intent surged in her eyes. Such a shameful scene must not be spread out. Boom! Following closely, she was like a demon king, activating the 3 profound meanings and killing hundreds of people and beasts. You can't beat Qin Feiyang and the golden-winged wolf king. So you're venting your anger on us? Is there any justice? Run! Hundreds of people and beasts panicked and fled frantically. However, none of them had mastered the profound meaning, so how could they escape from Qi Yueing's pursuit? In just a few breaths, hundreds of people and beasts had lost their lives. Blood flowed like a river, like an azura purgatory. Go back and find the patriarch to seek justice for you. Qi Yueing waved her hand and swept up Qi Yu and the others, disappearing into the depths of the inner area like lightning. But they didn't know. Not long after they left, an old man and a young man walked out of an ice valley. Both of them were wearing blood-red clothes. Their blood-red hair fluttered in the cold wind, and their bodies emitted a monstrous killing intent. That's right. These 2 people were Li Feng and Blood Ancestor. Li Feng looked at the inner area and said in a deep voice, Why did you stop me? Blood Ancestor asked, Then I want to ask you, why did you kill Qi Yu and the others? Didn't you promise the golden-winged wolf king that you wouldn't kill the innocent? They wanted to kill Qindage and the wolf king. That's why I wanted to kill them. And this shouldn't be considered killing the innocent. Li Feng said. Seems that you really care about them. Blood Ancestor looked deeply at Li Feng and sighed. Of course. Whoever dares to hurt them, I'll be the first to disagree. Li Feng's voice was sonorous and powerful. Blood Ancestor was silent for a long time before asking, Since you care about them so much, why don't you go find them? Why do you keep following me? I'm too weak. I don't want to drag them down. Moreover, my notoriety is widespread now. If I go with them, I'll definitely implicate them. Li Feng lowered his head and said, This is just your wishful thinking. They might not care about your current fame, and they won't think that you'll implicate them. Blood Ancestor was silent for a moment before sighing. Actually, no matter what you do now, I won't stop you. What's the use of saying this now? Li Feng shook his head. All right. Blood Ancestor glanced at Li Feng and said with a smile, I stopped you just now because I don't want to expose my identity too early. What's your identity? Li Feng frowned. Didn't we agree that I'll tell you when you break through to the sovereign realm? In short, the Qilin clan is different from the Heavenly Hall. The people of the Heavenly Hall don't know my origin, but the Qilin clan does. If this Exalted's identity is to be exposed now, both you and this Exalted will be met with a calamity. So no matter what you want to do, you have to endure it. Blood Ancestor warned. Li Feng clenched his hands and said gloomily, I've been enduring it since Cloud Mountain Village was destroyed. I know this is unfair to you, but you have to believe in me. Sooner or later, you will become the strongest existence in this world. Blood Ancestor smiled slightly. All of a sudden, he seemed kind and benevolent. At the same time, an endless mountain range was located in the core area of the Death Glacier. Here, the mountains and rivers were beautiful, and the vegetation was lush. Towering peaks towered into the sky. Clouds and mist lingered in the mountains and spirit energy rose, as if it was a celestial mountain. This place was the Qilin sacred land that was unknown to the world. An elegant courtyard was located somewhere in the mountains. It was quaint and had a pleasant scenery. In front of the courtyard, a group of people stood together and looked around. It was Qin Feiyang and the others. Please help yourselves. The white-bearded old man looked at Qin Feiyang and the others and said with a smile. Then he turned around and flew away like lightning. What the hell? The white-eyed wolf frowned. Didn't they say that they were honored guests? Why did they just leave them here? Princess Huafeng said indifferently, letting you enter the Qilin sacred land is already the greatest respect to you. Is the Qilin sacred land that great? If it weren't for the fire Qilin, I wouldn't have come even if you invited me. The white-eyed wolf had a look of disdain. Princess Huafeng said angrily, Can you not always be so arrogant? Although you and Qin Feiyang are indeed very strong now, in the eyes of the few forbidden zones, you are nothing at all. I am so arrogant. If you don't like it, then don't look. Besides, who is the one who is shameless enough to follow us? The white-eyed wolf despised him. You? Princess Huafeng glared at the white-eyed wolf. Stop. Qin Feiyang looked at the white-eyed wolf and Princess Huafeng with a rather helpless expression. They were really a pair of quarrelsome lovers. He said, Since we are here, let's just take it easy. After saying that, he entered the courtyard. In the courtyard, there was a small bridge over flowing water, and hundreds of flowers were blooming. Qin Feiyang did not enter the attic inside. Seeing a pavilion on the side, he walked in, took out a tea set, and began to make tea. Wouldn't it be a waste if such a beautiful and quiet environment was not accompanied by a pot of good tea? Princess Huafeng glared at the white-eyed wolf fiercely, and also walked into the pavilion with the Daifuka brothers. Pyrotechnic Glow came up to the white-eyed wolf and said with a smile, Brother Wolf, don't mind her. My sister is such a person. You have to give in to her. Since seeing the white-eyed wolf's means, Pyrotechnic Glow was in awe of the white-eyed wolf. Why should I give in to her? The white-eyed wolf snorted and took out a jar of unparalleled divine brew. When he opened it, an intoxicating wine fragrance immediately wafted out. Pyrotechnic Glow's eyes lit up and he hurriedly said, Yes, why should we men give in to women? Men have to show their authority and not let women be too arrogant. The white-eyed wolf was stunned. He turned his head and glanced at Pyrotechnic Glow. He laughed and said, You're a promising child. Hee. Pyrotechnic Glow chuckled and looked at the white-eyed wolf. Brother Wolf, what kind of divine brew is this? It looks very tempting. The white-eyed wolf's face darkened. After praising him for so long, it turned out that he was here for the unparalleled divine brew. Brother Wolf, we are brothers, right? Brothers should share blessings and misfortunes. Pyrotechnic Glow smiled fawningly. The white-eyed wolf's mouth twitched. Even he felt a little ashamed of this guy's shamelessness. He simply took out a jar of unparalleled divine brew and threw it to Pyrotechnic Glow. Pyrotechnic Glow, what are you doing? Seeing this, Princess Huafeng immediately glared at Pyrotechnic Glow. Pyrotechnic glow shrank his neck and immediately hid behind the white-eyed wolf. He looked at Princess Huafeng pitifully and begged, "Sister, can't I just have one jar?" "No," Princess Huafeng said angrily. "Why are you afraid of her? She can control the heavens and the earth. Can she control your fart? What kind of man are you? Have some backbone." The white-eyed wolf glared at him. Pyrotechnic glow said aggrievedly, "Brother, you don't know. This sister of mine is a tigress. She has bullied me since I was young." "Poor thing." The white-eyed wolf looked at Pyrotechnic glow sympathetically and said proudly, "It's okay. I will protect you from now on." "Thank you, brother." Pyrotechnic glow smiled. In the pavilion. Seeing this scene, Princess Huafeng was so angry that her teeth itched. Daifuku shook his head and laughed. He advised, "Princess, don't restrict His Highness outside. Give him some face." "You are still speaking for him? It's not like you don't know his personality. If you relax a little, he will take a yard after taking an inch." Princess Huafeng was annoyed. "He won't. After all, he is no longer a child." Dafu waved his hand and raised his head to look at the indifferent and leisurely Qin Feiyang. He asked, "Brother Qin, you've offended the 10 great clans of the Qilin clan in one go. Don't tell me you're not nervous at all?" "Why should I be nervous? They were wrong in the first place." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. "That may be the case, but in this world not everyone is willing to reason with you." There was a trace of worry on Daifuku's face. First it was the dragons, then it was Yufeng people. Even if there is another Kirin clan now, what does it matter? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. He poured 3 cups of tea and pushed them in front of Daifuku and the other 2. He said with a smile, "Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. As long as you have confidence, there is nothing you can't overcome." Daifuku and the other 2 looked at each other. Such a disposition to adapt to circumstances was really beyond their reach. Chapter 36:16. At the same time, in another courtyard, a middle-aged man in a long robe sat beside the coffee table. There was also a pot of tea on the coffee table. There was also an incense burner beside it that emitted wisps of smoke. The middle-aged man was about 1.8 meters tall and had a weathered face with white hair at his temples. He leaned against the chair with his eyes closed and his calm expression was like a well. The aura on his body was also very weak, but it gave off a strong sense of oppression. "Patriarch." The white-bearded old man walked to the door and bowed respectfully. That was right. The person lying on the chair was the patriarch of the Fire Qilin race. The patriarch did not open his eyes and asked indifferently, "They have already left the Death Glacier?" "No." The white-bearded old man shook his head and smiled bitterly. "Not only did they not leave the Death Glacier, they even came to our Qilin sacred land." "No." The patriarch was stunned and slowly opened his eyes, revealing 2 fiery eyes. He looked at the white-bearded old man and asked, "Didn't I ask you to send them out of the Death Glacier? Why did you bring them to the Qilin sacred land?" "There's nothing I can do about it." The white-bearded old man sighed. "What happened?" The Fire Qilin patriarch was suspicious. The white-bearded old man explained how Qiyu and the others made things difficult for Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf. He sighed. "If I didn't bring them to the Qilin sacred land, Qiyu and the others would definitely not have survived. A bunch of fools. I warned them not to provoke that man and wolf, but they refused to listen." The patriarch's eyes were filled with anger as he asked, "How are Qiyu and the others now?" "Not good. Prince Qiyu's fire laws were stripped away. The other 9 princes and princesses were also stripped of a small cultivation realm." The white-bearded old man sighed. The patriarch frowned and said, "They even dared to hurt the princes and princesses of our Qilin race. They are indeed courageous." The white-bearded old man said with a worried expression, "But Qin Feiyang and the golden-winged wolf king's actions will undoubtedly anger the patriarchs of the 9 clans and your younger brother. They are not easy to deal with. Let them do as they please. I don't care anyway." The Fire Qilin patriarch waved his hand. "You don't care?" The white-bearded old man was stunned. "Yes." The Fire Qilin patriarch nodded and mocked. "Do you know who told us not to attack Qin Feiyang now? Wasn't it you?" The white-bearded old man asked. "Me?" I don't have that ability yet. The one who gave the orders behind the scenes was our ancestor, the Qilin master. The Fire Qilin patriarch smiled faintly. What? Why would the ancestor give such an order? The white-bearded old man was surprised. It should be related to it. I heard that a few days ago the ancestor, the Dragon King, and Feng Ho's consciousness gathered on Sky Cloud Island. It seems that they have decided not to have any conflicts with Qin Feiyang and the others for 1,000 years. So if I interfere now, it will definitely arouse the ancestors' dissatisfaction. As for the patriarchs of the 9 clans and my younger brother, they have become more and more arrogant in recent years. It is indeed time to frustrate their arrogance. Let's go. Since the distinguished guests have come, we will naturally entertain them well. The Fire Qilin patriarch stood up and smiled. What about it? Qin Feiyang and the Golden-Winged Wolf King are coming for it. Shouldn't we inform it to come? The white-bearded old man asked. We don't need to inform it. When the matter blows up, it will naturally appear. The Fire Qilin patriarch smiled faintly. What? How dare you deprive my son of the power of the law? This is simply unforgivable. On the other side, a middle-aged man was furious. Damn you, Qin Feiyang, Golden-Winged Wolf King. I will not rest until you die. At the same time, furious roars could be heard coming from the other 9 clans' ancestral grounds. In the pavilion, the fragrance of tea filled the air. The fragrance of the wine was intoxicating. Distinguished guests, please forgive us for not going out to welcome you. Accompanied by a faint laughter, the Fire Qilin patriarch and the white-bearded old man descended into the courtyard and smiled apologetically at everyone in the pavilion. He is the patriarch of the Fire Qilin clan. Daifuku secretly introduced Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf, then stood up and looked at the Fire Qilin patriarch. He cupped his hands and said, "It should be us apologizing to the patriarch. We did not inform you in advance and trespassed into the Qilin sacred land. Please forgive us. We are all old friends. There is no need to be so polite." The Fire Qilin patriarch walked into the pavilion. "Greetings, uncle." Princess Huafeng and Pyrotechnic Glow bowed. Not bad, not bad. The last time I saw you, you were only at the 9 Heavens realm. Now both of you are peak sovereigns. Looks like your father has spent a lot of effort on you. The Fire Qilin patriarch smiled as he sized up the siblings. We have embarrassed ourselves, uncle. No matter how good we are, we can't compare to even a fraction of big brother Xiaoyun. Princess Huafeng waved her hand in a gentle and courteous manner. Don't talk about that kid. Just mentioning him gives me headaches. He only knows how to fiddle with those useless toys of his. He has no ambition at all. The Fire Qilin patriarch waved his hand in annoyance. He looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf and said with a smile, "Both of you are famous. Now that I have met you, you are indeed dragons and phoenixes among men." The white-eyed wolf glanced at the Fire Qilin patriarch and continued drinking. Qin Feiyang cupped his fists and said with a smile, "This junior dares not accept senior's praise. I hope senior won't blame me for taking the liberty of visiting." Look at what you're saying. It is the Qilin clan's honor to have young brother here. How can I blame you? Come. Don't be so polite. Please take a seat. After exchanging some pleasantries, the Fire Qilin patriarch walked to the stone table and started entertaining Qin Feiyang's group. The white-eyed wolf transmitted, "Little Qin Zi. His attitude is better than I expected. Is he plotting something? Let's play it by ear." Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered as he spoke. He looked at the Fire Qilin patriarch and said with a smile, "Senior, I believe you already know the purpose of this junior's visit, right?" "Yes." The Fire Qilin patriarch nodded. What a straightforward young man to mention the Fire Qilin patriarch. Then why isn't this junior's old friend here? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. The Fire Qilin patriarch smiled and said, "He's in seclusion. It's really not good to disturb him, so I can only ask you to wait patiently." Seclusion? Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other. Since he was in seclusion, why did he ask the white-bearded old man to pick them up? Wait, could it be that the white-bearded old man didn't come to pick them up? Instead, he came to stop them from entering the Qilin Holy Land? The white-bearded old man smiled apologetically and said, Brother Qin, Brother Wolf King, to tell you the truth, in fact, I came to find you this time to send you out of the Death Glacier. Sure enough, Qin Feiyong's heart skipped a beat. He asked suspiciously why. Because your arrival in the Qilin Holy Land will affect the balance of the forbidden areas. The white-bearded old man sighed. Balance? Qin Feiyong frowned. Yes. The white-bearded old man nodded and then said, Why don't you think about it? If the dragons and the Feng people know that you have entered the Qilin Holy Land, what will they think? The Qilin race is also afraid of the Feng people and the dragons? Qin Feiyong was surprised. It's not that they are afraid, but they don't want to cause unnecessary misunderstandings. The white-bearded old man shook his head. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, In that case, Qi Yu and the others have helped us. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't have the chance to enter the Qilin Holy Land. That's right. The white-bearded old man nodded and smiled bitterly. Qin Feiyong shook his head and smiled. Then this is a little awkward. They have helped me so much, but I will let the white-eyed wolf deprive them of their laws and cultivation. The white-bearded old man was speechless. Do you look awkward at all? He was clearly mocking them. No matter what, since you have come to the Qilin Holy Land, you are my Qilin race's guests. The Fire Qilin Patriarch smiled, full of friendliness and goodwill. Senior, thank you for your kindness. Qin Feiyong smiled, but a hint of suspicion flashed in his eyes. He transmitted his voice, Daifu, what's going on? The white-eyed wolf deprived Qiyu of his laws of fire, and he is still so friendly to us? Daifuku secretly said, Qiyu is not his son. Of course he won't be angry. Not his son. Qin Feiyong was stunned. He thought that Qiyu was the patriarch's son. Qiyu is the patriarch's nephew. Qiyu's father is the patriarch's younger brother. Although they are a family, you also know that no matter where, there will be all kinds of unknown disputes. The Fire Qilin race is no exception. Daifuku secretly explained. Qin Feiyong suddenly understood. Although Daifuku said it very vaguely, as long as one was not a fool, one could understand that the Fire Qilin Patriarch was not on good terms with his younger brother. As for the Patriarch, he indeed has a son. Just now, the princess mentioned that his name is Qi Xiaoyun. However, this Qi Xiaoyun's personality is a little strange. Daifuku said. His personality is a little strange? Qin Feiyong was puzzled. What did he mean? Qi Xiaoyun's talent is outstanding, and he is publicly acknowledged as the #1 monster of the Fire Qilin race. Moreover, as the only son of the Fire Qilin Patriarch, he should work hard to become the next successor. However, he is indifferent to fame and fortune, and he doesn't care about anything. Oh right. He has the same hobby as you. Daifuku transmitted his voice. What hobby? Qin Feiyong was curious. Daifuku secretly said, Drinking tea, cultivating tea trees. Drinking tea, cultivating tea trees? When Qin Feiyong heard this, he immediately lowered his head and pondered. Wait a minute. Could this Qi Xiaoyun be the owner of the tea house? Because the white-bearded old man was here. He really hit it well. But why did this Qi Xiaoyun go to the eastern continent to set up a tea house? Could it be that he wanted to understand his situation? Boom! Just as Qin Feiyong was pondering, a terrifying aura rolled over from all directions. Qin Feiyong, the white-eyed wolf, and Princess Huafeng raised their heads and scanned the surrounding void. They frowned slightly. The aura was aggressive, and they came with ill intentions. The Fire Qilin Patriarch and the white-bearded old man looked at each other, and a flash of light flashed past their eyes. Chapter 36:17. Whoosh! The first to descend was a middle-aged man. His tall and sturdy body exuded a valiant aura. Although he was stronger than the Fire Qilin Patriarch, their facial features were extremely similar. Beside the middle-aged man, there was a young man. No one was unfamiliar with this young man. It was Qiyu. Obviously, the middle-aged man was the younger brother of the Fire Qilin Patriarch. Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf looked at the middle-aged man, and their pupils constricted slightly. Although the middle-aged man's cultivation was also at the perfection sovereign realm, they could feel a fatal danger from this person. As everyone knew, There were also differences in strength among the Perfection Sovereign Realm. Firstly, they had yet to comprehend the Supreme Profound. There were two differences in this. The first type of person, the 6 types of laws that he had mastered were all ordinary laws. This was the most ordinary Perfection Sovereign Realm. Such Perfection Sovereign Realm experts were everywhere in the Sky Cloud Realm. Especially the various forbidden areas. There were as many as the hairs on an ox. The second type of person was the Perfection Sovereign Realm expert who had comprehended the Supreme Profound. These people were rare geniuses. Each of them was worth a faction's time and effort to nurture. Secondly, they had comprehended the Supreme Profound. The Supreme Profound was naturally another step. Those who had comprehended the Supreme Profound were already worthy of the title of Omnipotent. However, this step, the difference in strength was even more obvious. There were the Supreme Profound of ordinary laws and the Supreme Profound of the Supreme Profound of the Supreme Profound. As the number of Supreme Profound increased, the strength and status would be stronger. Let's not talk about the white-eyed wolf. Let's talk about Qin Feiyang. He, who had mastered 2 Supreme Profound of the Supreme Profound of the Supreme Profound, was already considered a cornerstone among the omnipotent. Finally, there was no doubt that he had comprehended the Supreme Profound. A giant at this level could no longer be measured by the omnipotent. He was already standing at the top of this world, overlooking all living things in the world and killing everything with a thought. However, whether or not the ultimate profound meaning truly existed had not been proven yet. Because until now, Qin Feiyang had not heard of anyone who had mastered the Supreme Profound. Speaking of which, Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf were already so strong, but this middle-aged man in front of them actually made them feel a sense of fatal danger. One could imagine how terrifying his strength was. If he was not mistaken, the middle-aged man had at least mastered 2 supreme profundities of the supreme laws. Look carefully. Here at the very least. There could be more. Qi Yu pointed at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf and roared bitterly, "Father, it's them." The middle-aged man stared at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf with a cold gleam in his eyes. The Fire Qilin Patriarch looked at the middle-aged burly man and said suspiciously, "Qi Xiong, what are you doing? How can a dignified senior figure of the Qilin clan be so lacking in etiquette and disturb a distinguished guest who has come to visit the Qilin Holy Land?" Honored guest? Etiquette? When Qi Xiong heard this, he was instantly furious and roared, "I don't believe that old Bai didn't tell you when he came back." Qin Feiyang and the Golden-Winged Wolf King were at the edge of the inner area and forcibly took away Yuer's Law of Fire. "Oh, I know about this." The Fire Qilin Patriarch nodded. "Since you know, why do you still treat them as honored guests? They're clearly here to provoke us. Yuer is your nephew. Whether it's for public or private reasons, you should seek justice for him." Qi Xiong's face was gloomy. Indeed. However, our Qilin clan should distinguish between right and wrong. This matter is not Qin Feiyang and the Golden-Winged Wolf King's fault. It's Qi Yu and the other little guys who provoked us first. Whether it's for personal reasons or not, I can't help them. The Fire Qilin Patriarch sighed. "You," Qi Xiong glared at the Fire Qilin Patriarch. "Lord Qi Xiong, you can't blame the Patriarch for this. After all, we were in the wrong. If we still look for Qin Feiyang and the Golden-Winged Wolf King, won't the 10 of them think that the Qilin clan is a bunch of ignorant people?" said the white-bearded old man. "Shut up. Do you think you're qualified to speak here?" shouted Qi Xiong as he looked at the white-bearded old man with disdain. The Fire Qilin Patriarch frowned and said angrily, "Qi Xiong, stop messing around. Although old Bai is not a member of our clan, he is Xiaoyun's teacher. Even I have to show him some respect." "Teacher?" Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf looked at the white-bearded old man. They had not expected this old man to have such an identity. He was quite amazing. Qi Xiaoyun was the son of the Fire Qilin Patriarch. As Qi Xiaoyun's teacher, his status in the Qilin Holy Land was naturally high. He was definitely comparable to a grand elder like Qi Xiong. Moreover, his strength was probably no weaker than the Fire Qilin Patriarch. It would seem they had severely underestimated this old man. But facing the Fire Qilin Patriarch's rebuke, Qi Xiong didn't put it in his eyes. He looked at Qin Feiyang and the ingrate coldly and said with a murderous aura, "No matter what, you can forget about leaving the Qilin sacred land alive today." Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf's hearts trembled. This was a sign that they were about to shed all pretense of cordiality. But then again, they did not have any friendship with the Qilin clan in the past, so there was no such thing as shedding all pretense of cordiality. One could only say that Qi Xiong was being unreasonable. As for the Fire Qilin patriarch, although he had been speaking on their behalf, Qin Feiyang, who was used to fighting against each other, could tell with a single glance that the Fire Qilin patriarch was not sincerely helping them. One could even say that the Fire Qilin patriarch was using them. Facing the overbearing Qi Xiong, Qin Feiyang took a sip of his tea and said with a smile, "Since you are being unreasonable, I have nothing else to say. Come at me if you have any tricks up your sleeve." What? The Fire Qilin patriarch, the white-bearded old man, and Princess Huafeng looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. They had thought that Qin Feiyang would compromise. After all, they were not facing a small character like Qiyu but a super strong man like Qi Xiong. But they had never expected that Qin Feiyang would actually directly clamor. How should they put it? Tough enough. Qi Xiong was also stunned, because even he thought that, being in the Qilin Holy Land, even if Qin Feiyang had reason and evidence, he would definitely bow his head and apologize and beg him to let him go. However, he did not expect that the other party would be so arrogant and openly challenge him, a super strong man. Haha. He could not help but laugh. What an arrogant human being. Being in the Qilin Holy Land, he was still so arrogant. Did he really think that he would not dare to make a move? Whoosh! This time, accompanied by bursts of air-breaking sounds, more than a dozen people came aggressively. They were the patriarchs of the 9 clans. Every single one of them exuded an unfathomable aura. They were like god-kings, causing the world to tremble involuntarily. The 9 people who came with Qiyu before were also beside them at this moment, looking at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf with hatred. One of the old men, with his hands behind his back, looked up at Qi Xiong and asked suspiciously, "Qi Xiong, why are you laughing like this?" "You don't know, but this kid who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth actually challenged me." Qi Xiong laughed loudly, completely unable to control himself. What? The patriarchs, princes, and princesses of the 9 clans were all stunned when they heard this. Challenge Qi Xiong? Wasn't this a little too arrogant? Who was Qi Xiong? Even the patriarchs of the 9 clans did not have 100% confidence in defeating him. A mere human kid actually dared to speak so arrogantly. They really did not know where he borrowed the courage from. "Qiji, what do you mean by sitting with them now? Are you trying to protect them? Let me tell you, this man and the wolf must die today, and your face will not be of any use." The patriarchs of the 9 clans looked at the patriarch of the Fire Qilin clan and said with murderous intent, "Qiji." Qin Feiyang glanced at the patriarch of the Fire Qilin clan. Compared to Qi Xiong, this patriarch of the Fire Qilin clan was indeed like a wise man who did not show anything on his face. However, looking from the side, Qiji was the one who was truly terrifying. This was because a person who did not show anything on his face was usually very scheming. Why do you have to do this? Do you really want the world to curse our Qilin clan for being unreasonable? Qiren sighed. Let them say whatever they want. Besides, as long as the 2 of them die here, who knows why they died? One of the patriarchs sneered. Qiji turned to look at Qin Feiyang with a trace of distress and helplessness on his face. "Thank you for your concern, Senior. If Senior is not worried, leave this matter to me." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. When Qiji heard this, his eyes flashed slightly, and he smiled. "Since little brother is so confident, then I will wait to enjoy a good show. I will not let Senior down." Qin Feiyang put down the teacup, got up and walked out of the pavilion step by step, then stepped into the sky step by step. Haha, let's not talk about other things first. Just his courage alone is worthy of praise. Elder Bai, don't you think so? Qiji laughed heartily and praised. Yes. The white-bearded old man nodded. This kind of courage and guts was indeed unprecedented. However, it might not be wise. In the sky above, Qi Xiong and the others saw that Qin Feiyang actually stood up to fight, and their faces were a little surprised. However, Qi Yu and the others had a look of disgust on their faces. "What are you pretending for? You'll be crying later." Qi Yu said resentfully, "Father, you must kill him and avenge your son." "Don't worry." Qi Xiong smiled coldly. "Opposite. Qin Feiyong stopped and stood in the air with Qi Xiong and the 9 clan leaders. He cupped his hands and smiled. Seniors, may I ask who has mastered the ultimate esoteric meaning of the law of life? What the hell? He actually has the mood to care about this? Pyrotechnic Glow was stunned. Qi Xiong, the 9 patriarchs, Qi Yu and the 10 patriarchs were speechless. Can't you see the situation clearly? Shouldn't you be thinking about how to save your life now? Besides, what does it have to do with you whether others have mastered the ultimate esoteric meaning of the law of life? There must be something wrong with your brain. But at the same time, when the white-eyed wolf heard Qin Feiyong's words, its eyes suddenly glowed green, and a trace of saliva even flowed out of the corner of its mouth, because it knew what Qin Feiyong wanted to do. He was helping it find prey. Now it had already mastered 5 ultimate esoteric meanings of the law of life, and only the last one was left. Originally, it had its eyes on the Heavenly Palace Lord. This was because the Heavenly Palace Lord had mastered the law of life. However, the Heavenly Palace Lord was too tactful and chose to ally with them. Since they had become allies, it was naturally impossible for them to attack her. Chapter 36:18. Since they couldn't kill the Sky Palace Master, they had to find another target. But to be honest, a healing-type law like the law of life was still quite rare. In the past few years, they had already traveled through all 4 continents once. They had seen other supreme laws, but the life laws of nature were truly rare to come by. Even if they hadn't comprehended the supreme laws. The laws of life, which did not have the highest profundity, was not tempting at all in the eyes of the ingrates. But now the 9 clan leaders and Qi Xiong made up the 10 supreme experts. One of them should have mastered the supreme laws of life. Therefore, he was looking forward to Qi Xiong and the others' answers more than anyone else. But after waiting for a while, all he got was mockery. None of them answered Qin Feiyong's question directly. The white-eyed wolf raised his eyebrows and sneered. A group of supreme experts don't even have the courage to answer such a small question? What a joke. What's the harm in telling you? I have mastered the supreme laws of life. A woman among the 9 clan leaders said proudly. Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf immediately looked at the woman with a strange light in their eyes. The woman looked to be in her 30s. She was wearing a light green dress and had soft black hair and a youthful face. She looked elegant and refined. Little Qin Zi, you must take her down. The white-eyed wolf said excitedly. Don't worry. Just wait patiently for her to integrate with the life laws. Qin Feiyong smiled inwardly, and a surging aura surged out. He pointed at the green-clad woman, and a boundless battle intent surged towards her. You're the first to challenge me? The woman in green raised her eyebrows. The 9 clan leaders and Qi Xiong were all here, but they chose to challenge her first. Why? Did they think she was a pushover? Qi Xiong turned to the woman and said, Qi Yefeng, he's just a junior. It's not good for us to gang up on him. So it's up to you now. Don't lose to a junior. The other 8 clan leaders also put on a fake smile. They all wanted to borrow Qi Yefeng's strength to see how strong Qin Feiyong was. Qi Yefeng snorted coldly and said, as the patriarch of the Woodchilan clan, how can I tolerate the arrogance and despotism of a junior? Boom! An aura burst out. Seeing that a great battle was about to break out, Princess Huafeng stood up and looked at Qi Yefeng. She frowned and said, Senior Patriarch, it's inappropriate for you to bully a junior like this. You have a problem with it? Qi Yefeng raised her eyebrows. Qi Xiong and the others also looked at Princess Huafeng, frowning slightly. Feng people actually stood out to protect Qin Feiyong? Was this Feng Ho's idea? Or was it Princess Huafeng's personal opinion? I don't dare. Princess Huafeng shook her head and then sneered. But it's true that Qi Yu and the others provoked us first. Seniors, aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by the world if you don't distinguish right from wrong? Qi Yefeng was furious and shouted, how dare a little girl criticize us seniors? I'm afraid even your father, the Fire Feng people, doesn't have the guts. I'm just stating facts. Moreover, you claim to be our senior, so you should act like one. Not to mention my father, the patriarch of the Ice Phoenix clan has never personally intervened in the grudges between juniors even though Bing Runing and Qin Feiyong are at loggerheads. Princess Huafeng looked straight at Qi Yefeng without the slightest fear. What she meant was, They were both patriarchs, but their characters were worlds apart. What an oblique accusation. Why didn't I notice before that you're so eloquent? However, I'd like to know if you're standing up to protect Qin Feiyang and the Golden-Winged Wolf King is your personal decision? Or is it an order from your father and Feng Ho? Qi Yefeng sneered. This matter has nothing to do with my father, nor does it have anything to do with Lord Feng Ho. I'm not trying to offend you, but I hope you can act like one. Princess Huafeng said. Since even Feng Ho didn't say anything, why are you a little girl trying to show off? This is not your phoenix nest, and I won't tolerate your willful behavior. Qi Yefeng roared, and a force of death surged out and rushed toward Princess Huafeng. Seeing this, Daifuku quickly stepped in front of Princess Huafeng, and the power of time and space roared out. The two strongest power of laws collided with each other. A destructive aura erupted in the sky. Qi Ji, the patriarch of the Fire Qilin clan, raised his eyebrows, and a terrifying divine power emerged from his body. This was the aura of a sovereign divine weapon, and it instantly wiped out the destructive aura born from the collision of the two power of laws. He shouted, if you want to fight, go to the Star River, not the Qilin Holy Land. Okay, I'll wait for you in the Star River. Qi Yefeng stared at Qin Feiyang and the others and said coldly. She instantly rushed into the sky and stepped into the Star River. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf glanced at Princess Huafeng. This woman was quite loyal and brave. She dared to stand up for them in the Qilin Holy Land. It seemed that it was worth it to help her open the door of potential. Let's go. Qin Feiyang stepped forward and quickly stepped into the Star River. When we enter the Star River, don't talk too much. The white-eyed wolf glared at Princess Huafeng and rushed into the Star River like lightning. There was a hint of concern in his words. Humph. Princess Huafeng snorted coldly. She helped them so much, but he didn't even say a word of thanks. Instead, he blamed her for talking too much. He really didn't know what was good for him. Princess, you really shouldn't interrupt. After all, this is the Qilin Holy Land. Daifuku sighed inwardly. So what? Could it be that they can bully others as they wish in the Qilin Holy Land? They're really unreasonable. Princess Huafeng was dissatisfied. Daifuku smiled bitterly. However, when he glanced at Qi Xiong and the others, his heart couldn't help but tremble. There was a hint of killing intent in their eyes. It wasn't killing intent toward Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf. It was killing intent toward them. Although they were the people of the Feng people and the two princes were the descendants of the patriarch, even if Qi Xiong and the others killed them now, the patriarch wouldn't have any reason to blame them. It was because they had barged in without permission. Let's go. I'd like to see what they can do to us. Princess Huafeng also noticed the abnormality. She snorted and went straight to the Star River. Sigh. Daifuku sighed inwardly. He had no choice but to chase after her with pyrotechnic glow and Xiao Fu. In fact, they couldn't avoid it. Now that they were in the Qilin Holy Land, they didn't have the final say. Qi Xiong and the others looked at each other and sneered. They also quickly followed. Qi Yu and the others naturally wouldn't miss such a good show. Qi Ji looked at Princess Huafeng's back and whispered, Old Bai, the reaction of the Feng people seems to be a bit unexpected. Yes, the 1,000-year promise of the Feng people should be related to the princess. The white-bearded old man nodded. Let's go and have a look. To be honest, I'm also looking forward to Qin Feiyang's performance. Qi Ji smiled faintly and stepped into the air with the white-bearded old man. A battle between omnipotent experts naturally couldn't take place in the Qilin Holy Land. This was because once a battle of this level completely broke out, the entire Qilin Holy Land would be razed to the ground. In the distance, a courtyard was surrounded by mountains and rivers. It was extremely quiet. In front of the courtyard, a lady in red looked up at the sky with a shocked face. As expected of Qin Feiyang, he even dared to fight against omnipotent experts like the patriarchs of the 9 tribes and Qi Xiong. When the group of people disappeared into the Star River, the lady in red retracted her gaze and turned to look at a tea garden not far away. In the tea garden, a white figure seemed to be watering the tea plants. She asked, Young master, do you want to go and have a look? What's there to see? It's a sure win situation. The white figure smiled without turning his head. A sure win? The lady in red was stunned and asked suspiciously, Do you mean Qi Yefeng or Qin Feiyang? Do you care so much about their victory? The white figure retorted with a casual tone. Hearing this, the lady in red could not help but smile bitterly. At this moment the entire Qilin clan was paying attention. Only the young master did not care. It was no wonder that the patriarch scolded him all day long. Yes. Right now the entire Qilin clan was paying attention to this battle. However, when they reached the peak of the clouds, they were stopped outside the Star River by the white-bearded old man. Old White, what do you mean by stopping us? There were many talented youths of the Qilin clan and a large number of omnipotent experts. They all looked at the white-bearded old man with dissatisfaction. I'm sorry. This is the Patriarch's order. Before the battle ends, no one is allowed to step into the Star River. The white-bearded old man smiled apologetically. Why? Everyone was indignant. The Patriarch's orders should not need to be explained to you. The white-bearded old man chuckled and a dark force appeared. This was the law of darkness. It emitted a terrifying aura and directly sealed the entrance of the Star River. Then, the white-bearded old man flew towards the Star River without looking back. Bastard old man. Isn't he just Qi Xiaoyan's teacher? In the end he's just an outsider. What are you being arrogant for? The people who were blocked outside cursed angrily. It was worth mentioning that many people were unable to break through the seal of the Dark Force, even after activating their strongest laws. Star River. In the depths, Qin Feiyang and Qi Yefeng stood in the air. Two powerful auras collided crazily, causing the surrounding starry sky to tremble. Princess Huafeng and the other three Qi Ji, Qi Xiong, and the others stood at the exit of the Star River, watching the battle from afar. The white-eyed wolf maintained a distance from the group of people and looked at Qi Yefeng with shifty eyes. Suddenly, it activated momentary time and rushed to Qin Feiyang's side like lightning. You want to fight 2 against 1? Sure. You're all ants anyway. Qi Yefeng smiled disdainfully. You think you're worthy of us joining hands? The white-eyed wolf's face was full of contempt as he sent a voice transmission. Little Qin Zi, send me to the castle. Later, cripple her cultivation and send her to the castle as well, lest Qi Xiong and the others stop me from fusing with the law of life. You're quite thoughtful. Qin Feiyang was surprised. What a joke. This matter concerns my future. Of course I have to put in more effort. The white-eyed wolf bared his teeth. Chapter 36:19. Bastard. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at it. This guy would only take things seriously when it came to his own matters. With a wave of Qin Feiyang's hand, the white-eyed wolf instantly disappeared. He looked up at Qi Yefeng and said with a smile, Come on, don't show any mercy. You're really arrogant. But now, you'd better stand aside and watch obediently. Qi Yefeng's eyes flashed coldly. Boom! The power of laws surged out. The power of laws of fire, sword, light, death and destruction. The power of the 5 laws surged like angry waves in the starry sky. Whoosh! At this moment, Qi Yefeng turned to look at Princess Huafeng and shouted, Now, I'll take the place of the Fire Feng people and teach you a lesson. The power of the 5 laws suddenly turned into a torrent and rushed toward Princess Huafeng. Qi Yefeng, how dare you? Daifuku shouted angrily and stood in front of Princess Huafeng without hesitation. The princess's previous rebuttal had indeed caused this woman to hold a grudge. As Princess Huafeng's guardian, he certainly would not allow anyone to hurt her. He activated the space-time law's supreme esoteric meaning without hesitation. The ice fragments in the sky turned into a tall shield wall in front of him. With a loud bang, the power of the 5 laws blasted toward him. Fortunately, Qi Yefeng did not activate the supreme esoteric meaning, and only used the power of laws. In addition, the shield wall was formed by the supreme esoteric meaning of the space-time law, so it blocked the attack of the 5 laws. How dare you attack me in front of me? You're like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. You overestimate yourself. Daifuku's action completely angered Qi Yefeng, because it made her lose face. Rumble. Accompanied by a terrifying aura, the power of the 5 laws quickly evolved into the 5 supreme esoteric meanings in the void, exuding an aura of destruction. Crack! The starry sky suddenly began to collapse, as if it was the end of the world. What? Qin Feiyang's expression changed drastically. 5 laws, 5 supreme esoteric meanings. This was the strength of a clan leader? No. This person's life law had not been activated. In other words, Qi Yefeng had mastered 6 supreme esoteric meanings. 3 supreme esoteric meanings of the 3 supreme esoteric meanings of the 3 supreme esoteric meanings. Such a terrifying strength was indeed not something that the Demon Hall and the other major powers could compare to. It was not an exaggeration. The Qilin clan's 10 great races. Any one of the patriarchs could flatten the 4 continents if they walked out. The disparity between the human race and the various forbidden regions was indeed not a tiny bit. You really want to kill? Say. Come. Although she did have the intention to contradict him, she was not wrong. What she said was the truth. Based. Qi Yefeng, don't go too far. Daifuku was also enraged. Xiaofu could no longer sit still. She ran to Daifuku's side and said angrily, "You're a clan leader. Is that all you can do?" But Qi Yefeng turned a deaf ear. Her face was full of killing intent. She wants to kill. Hurry. Daifuku's face turned pale as he shouted at his abdomen. Boom. The two of them activated their supreme esoteric meanings. Daifuku had mastered 3 supreme esoteric meanings. They were spacetime law, fire law, and slaughter law. His abdomen also mastered 2 supreme esoteric meanings. They were metal law and fire law. These were also the 5 supreme esoteric meanings. However, the supreme esoteric meaning of the supreme esoteric meanings was only spacetime law. But now, they could only fight with all their might to protect Princess Huafeng and pyrotechnic glow. Boom! The 5 supreme esoteric meanings attacked. A deafening sound exploded in the galaxy. Of Qi Yefeng's 5 supreme esoteric meanings, 2 were the supreme esoteric meanings of the supreme esoteric meanings. Daifuku and Xiaofu could only resist for a short while before they were defeated. Then, Qi Yefeng's 5 supreme esoteric meanings instantly drowned the 2 of them. Accompanied by pained screams, the 2 brothers were instantly drenched in blood. This was the strength of a clan leader. Even if the 2 supreme experts joined forces, they were no match for Qi Yefeng. One had to know. Qi Yefeng had not activated the life law. Although the life law was a healing type, it still had some lethality. If Qi Yefeng activated the 6 supreme esoteric meanings, the 2 of them would have no chance of winning. At the moment of life and death, the Daifuku brothers did not dare to hold back. They decisively activated the Fire Phoenix domain, and finally escaped the disaster. Princess Huafeng looked at the injuries on the 2 brothers. Her eyes were suddenly filled with anger. She shouted, "Qi Yefeng, I have always respected you and called you senior. So please show us some respect. As a junior you call me by my name. Is this considered respect? It seems that you have not realized where your mistake is. The Fire Phone people are really powerful. To be able to raise a son like you, it is really a misfortune for the family." Qi Yefeng sneered. She activated the 5 supreme esoteric meanings and shattered the sky. Moreover, the target this time was no longer the Daifuku brothers, but Princess Huafeng. "Qi Yefeng, if you dare to hurt His Highness, the Feng people will not let this go." Daifuku roared. "Your Highness, there is no need to be polite with her. Activate the sovereign divine weapon." Xiaofu also looked at Princess Huafeng and shouted, "Activate the sovereign divine weapon? Do you know where we are now? Once you activate the sovereign divine weapon, it will be a declaration of war against the Kirin clan. At that time, I am afraid that even the Fire Phone people will not be able to save you." Qi Yefeng sneered. "It doesn't matter. At most we will fight to the death." The 2 brothers roared. You have backbone. But very stupid." Qi Yefeng laughed presumptuously. "That's right. If Princess Huafeng really used the sovereign divine weapon here, it would definitely set off an unprecedented battle. And it would be very unfavorable for Princess Huafeng's current situation, because the Kirin clan's sovereign divine weapon was no less than the Feng people. And now, Princess Huafeng and Pyrotechnic Glow only had 5 sovereign divine weapons. How could they be a match for the Kirin clan? So, whether it was Qi Yefeng or Qi Xiong, they could not wait for the siblings to do so, because this way they could justifiably kill the 2 without any worries. That time, not to mention the Fire Phone people, even if Feng Ho came in person, he would not be able to defend the siblings. In the face of such ridicule and provocation from Qi Yefeng, Whether it was the Daifuku brothers or the eldest princess and her brother, they all suppressed a breath of anger in their hearts. Isn't your opponent me? Swoosh. But suddenly, a figure landed in front of Princess Huafeng and the other three at lightning speed and looked at Qi Yefeng lightly. Qin Feiyang. Daifuku and the other three looked at Qin Feiyang's back view and their eyes trembled slightly. In a trance. This thin figure seemed to be incomparably majestic. It seems that bullying the weak is a very successful thing for you. The corners of Qin Feiyang's mouth lifted slightly. Qi Yefeng's strength was indeed strong. The 6 profound meanings were enough to suppress everything and could be said to be at the peak of perfection. However, no matter how strong one was, there would always be someone stronger. Qin Feiyang, you have to be careful. She will not give you any chance to turn the tables. Daifuku warned. As expected. But do you think I will give her a chance to turn the tables? Qin Feiyang laughed. The Daifuku brothers were speechless. If it was before the battle with the eldest prince of the dragons, Qi Yefeng naturally had the ability to suppress Qin Feiyang. But now it was a different story for a terror general. Good. Very good. Even now, you still dare to boast shamelessly. Since you want to court death, this seat will fulfill your wish first. Looking at Qin Feiyang's arrogant attitude, Qi Yefeng was so angry that she laughed. The auras of the 5 profound meanings, which were originally attacking First Princess Fire Phoenix, immediately locked onto Qin Feiyang. Their divine might spread out in all directions. Do you really think you have the ability to kill me? At this moment, Qin Feiyang's expression was full of disdain and contempt. Generally speaking, he would not look down on anyone. But this time it was an exception. This kind of idiot who liked to take advantage of his seniority and bully others no matter how strong he was or how high his status was, he was not worthy of his respect. As his voice landed, chua, beside him, 10 clones appeared, all of them identical. Right. His killing move is not just the Eye of Heaven. He also has 3,000 clones in Slaughter Domain. Daifuku's gaze flickered. This was simply an invincible existence. Apart from the profound meanings and the sovereign weapon, who else could fight against this kid? Bang! The moment the 10 clones appeared, intense killing intent burst out from their eyes. The profound meanings of the law of karma and the law of destruction were activated. Their terrifying auras shook the galaxy. The 10 clones were equivalent to 20 profound meanings of the supreme laws. As for Qi Yefeng, she had 3 profound meanings of the ordinary laws and 2 profound meanings of the supreme laws. Be it in terms of quality or quantity, the difference was like heaven and earth. You are the one who is going to die. Kill. Following the roar of the 10 clones, the 20 ultimate profundities of the strongest laws surged forward like terrifying godly weapons. There was no suspense. Faced with such a huge gap, the 5 profound meanings of the supreme laws were shattered on the spot. They did not even have the slightest power to resist. What? The shattering of the profound meanings of the supreme laws made Qi Yefeng spit out a mouthful of blood. Her gaze trembled. Wasn't this kid's strongest move the Eye of Heaven? It seems like you don't know much about me. This is not good. If you have time, you should go out and find out more. Qin Feiyang did not make a move from the beginning to the end. It was the 10 clones that were fighting. Since he had decided to humiliate the other party, he naturally had to do it ruthlessly without any mercy. Arrogant? Like to bully others? Fine. Now I will let you know that as the patriarch of a clan, you are not even qualified for me to make a move. After shattering the 5 profound meanings of the supreme laws, the 10 clones unleashed their auras. They were like gods of death, carrying the profound meanings of the supreme laws as they crossed the starry sky and charged toward Qi Yefeng. Rumble. Crack. The starry sky collapsed. It was like a scene of the end of the world. In the face of such a powerful attack, Qi Yefeng was covered in wounds in just a few blinks of an eye. Blood flowed out. Chapter 36:20. So powerful. Upon seeing this, the hearts of the various utmost powerful beings at the scene surged with emotions. Especially the Daifuku brothers, Princess Huafeng and Pyrotechnic Glow. Before breaking through to the sovereign realm, Qin Feiyang's strength was also very powerful and invincible in the same realm. However, facing a sovereign realm supreme expert, he had no power at all. unless he activated the slaughter zone and used the sovereign divine weapon. But now, Qin Feiyang had stepped into the sovereign realm. Not to mention supreme experts, even super supreme experts like Qi Yefeng were no match for him. Before and after breaking through, they were on two different levels. But now, in the entire sky cloud boundary, in the various forbidden zones, without the sovereign divine weapon and ultimacy, who could compete with him? It was too terrifying. Not only was Qin Feiyang's talent terrifying, but the divine techniques he had mastered were also more terrifying. 3,000 clones slaughter zone. Where did these heaven-defying killing techniques come from? Even the forbidden zones with deep foundations and countless years of history didn't have such divine techniques. I can't even compare to a human junior. Looking at Qi Yefeng again. She seemed to have gone crazy, and her ferocious face was filled with disbelief. Junior, with my current strength I can even be your ancestor. Do you really think you're so great? The 10 clones' eyes were filled with contempt. You're courting death. Qi Yefeng was burning with anger. Accompanied by a terrifying aura, a huge qilin appeared out of nowhere. Every hair on its body was like a green gem, bright and dazzling. Qilin real body? Do you think you can reverse the situation and turn defeat into victory by reverting to your original form? Sorry, no matter how heaven-defying your methods are, you'll still be at our feet today. The 10 clones laughed and used the space-time step, raising their fists and attacking Qi Yefeng crazily. Although they were clones, they had inherited Qin Feiyang's powerful physical body and strength. The power of one punch was enough to shatter heaven and earth. At this moment, Qi Yefeng was like a huge sandbag being beaten up by the 10 clones. This was not only a destruction of her physical body, but also a trampling of her dignity. The bodies of divine beasts were naturally stronger than those of humans, especially in existence like the qilin. His powerful physical body was enough to crush anyone. But no matter how strong he was, how could he compare to a supreme being's physique and strength? You have completely infuriated me. All of you wake up, Qi Yefeng roared. As one of the overlords of the Forbidden Lands, he had never been so furious before. Boom! As a terrifying aura appeared, a barrier that was 100 meters tall appeared. The 10 clones attacked the barrier with all of their might, but they were unable to damage it at all. Qilin domain? The 10 incarnations surrounded the barrier and frowned slightly. Roar! But in the next moment, a huge qilin beast shadow roared out of the barrier, exuding a monstrous aura. Under this divine might, even the 10 incarnations felt a sense of fatal danger. Qin Feiyang, this is not the Qilin domain. This is the Qilin clan's taboo technique. Qilin divine domain. Princess Huafeng roared in shock and anger. She had never imagined that Qi Yefeng would actually use a forbidden technique. Qilin divine domain? Qin Feiyang was taken aback. That's right. Although the Qilin domain and Qilin divine domain only differ by one word, the difference in power between the two is like heaven and earth. The Qilin domain is only a powerful forbidden technique, and it only has defensive abilities. But this Qilin divine domain is a super forbidden technique. Not only is its defensive power above the former, but it also has a terrifying lethality. Princess Huafeng secretly explained. Super forbidden technique. Qin Feiyang was shocked and couldn't help but recall the super forbidden technique that the fire dragon had activated. That power could simply be described as invincible. If it wasn't for the fact that his Eye of Heaven had already merged and transformed, he would really have to activate the slaughter domain or use the sovereign divine weapon to be a match for it. Unexpectedly, the Qilin clan actually had such a super forbidden technique. Go to hell, go to hell. Qi Yefeng laughed sinisterly. The Qilin beast's shadow was like an ancient giant beast that had appeared in the world, crazily pouncing on the 10 incarnations. Qin Feiyang stared at the Qilin beast's shadow and transmitted his voice. Why didn't Qi Yu and the others activate this forbidden technique at that time? Princess Huafeng secretly said. Because only the patriarchs of the various clans are qualified to inherit the forbidden technique. I see. Qin Feiyang nodded in realization and said with a faint smile, in that case, Yufeng people and dragons should also have forbidden techniques. You can still laugh? Princess Huafeng was speechless and nodded. That's right, we also have forbidden techniques. But like the Qilin clan, only the patriarchs of the various clans can inherit it. It seems that you people from the Forbidden Zones really can't be underestimated. But, at this point Qin Feiyang changed the topic and said coldly, so what if you have forbidden techniques? A clown is still a clown after all. If it was someone else, even if it was the Qilin realm, they would be helpless, let alone the forbidden technique. But now Qi Yefeng was facing his avatar. Qin Feiyang looked at the 10 avatars and said lightly, let her have a taste of true despair. Hey! The 10 avatars bared their teeth. That was exactly what he wanted. Roar! Accompanied by a deafening dragon roar, 10 purple gold dragon souls appeared. The Eye of Heaven was activated in an instant. In an instant, a Qilin realm appeared around the 10 avatars, and the Qilin beast shadows roared out. What? What exactly are they? Not only can they activate the Order Ultimacy, but they can also activate the Fighting Soul and even the Eye of Heaven. The appearance of this scene shocked everyone present. The 3,000 avatars were too terrifying. They were completely replicas of Qin Feiyang. If those who did not know saw this scene, they would definitely think that the 10 avatars were Qin Feiyang's biological brothers from the same mother. There was no suspense. Qi Yefeng was also enlightened on the spot. She did not expect that the avatars could activate the Eye of Heaven. These were the 10 real Qin Feiyang. Regardless of whether it was in terms of strength or skills, they were exactly the same. The Qilin clan's forbidden skill was indeed powerful, but she was alone. On the other hand, the 10 avatars had replicas of the 10 great forbidden skills. Most importantly, even the replicas of the forbidden skills were not inferior to hers. 1 against 10. Was there any chance of winning? She did not want to see the result because the result was already decided. The huge Qilin real body was paralyzed in the starry sky. Regardless of whether it was her face or her eyes, they were filled with fear and despair. Humph! Serves you right. The Daifuka brothers snorted coldly. This was the price of being arrogant. Fear filled the hearts of Qi Xiong and the other 8 patriarchs. They never would have thought that Qin Feiyang's strength had already reached such a level. Even if they joined forces, they were not fully confident of defeating him. Even Qi Xiong and the others were like this, not to mention Qi Yu and the other juniors. Their hearts were already terrified to the extreme. It turned out that this was Qin Feiyang's true strength. At the edge of the inner area, he did not seriously fight with them at all. To think that they thought they could defeat this person. This was simply a joke. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shaking explosion, the Qilin beast shadow summoned by Qi Yefeng shattered on the spot in the void in the face of the 10 avatars' forbidden skills. Following closely, the 10 great forbidden skills charged towards Qi Yefeng. Qi Ji took a deep breath and raised his head to look at Qin Feiyang standing in front of him. He smiled and said, "The battle has already been decided. Little brother, please be merciful." However, Qin Feiyang turned a deaf ear. Be merciful? What a joke. He did not see this woman being merciful before. Moreover, the white-eyed wolf was waiting to fuse with the law of life in the black tortoise realm. Looking at the indifferent Qin Feiyang, Qi Ji could not help but frown. Clang! However, at this moment, an ear-piercing sword sound rang out. A green divine light swept out from Qi Yefeng's body, exuding a sharp aura that could destroy the world. The 10 great forbidden skills were annihilated on the spot. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and looked at the sky above Qi Yefeng's head. A 3-foot-long thin sword was floating. It looked like it was made of emerald. It was crystal clear and emitted a dazzling divine light. Sovereign divine weapon. I am the leader of a clan. How can I be defeated by a junior like you? The appearance of the sovereign divine weapon made Qi Yefeng's fighting spirit recover. She raised her head to look at Qin Feiyang and roared. A majestic life force emerged. Qi Yefeng, who was covered in wounds before, was instantly healed. This is the law of life? Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. Having the law of life was equivalent to having an immortal body. Clang! Qi Yefeng transformed into her human form and grabbed the sovereign divine weapon. The sharp aura could topple mountains and overturn seas as she charged toward the 10 clones. Although the 10 clones were strong, they could not withstand the sovereign divine weapon's aura and were all destroyed in an instant. Qi Yefeng, stop here! Qi Ji shouted. Stop here! Are you joking with me? Qi Yefeng sneered. She held the sovereign divine weapon and charged toward Qin Feiyang. How could she stop now? If she did not kill Qin Feiyang, she would not have the face to face her clan in the future. Yu Qizhi was furious. Can't you tell that I am helping you? You really don't know what's good for you. In the blink of an eye, Qi Yefeng was almost in front of Qin Feiyang. Even Qin Feiyang did not dare to be careless when facing the sovereign divine weapon. Similarly, Qi Yefeng's actions had also angered him. Before, when Brother Daifuku was about to activate the sovereign divine weapon, what did this woman say? Activating the sovereign divine weapon was a declaration of war against the Qilin clan. What? Now that it was her turn, she did not care so much? It was true that only the officials were allowed to set fires, but the common people were not allowed to light lamps. Clang! Accompanied by two terrifying auras, the Horsetail Whisk and the Grim Reaper's sword appeared at the same time and charged forward. With a loud bang, the sovereign divine weapon in Qi Yefeng's hand flew out. Qi Yefeng was also sent flying, spitting out blood. As expected, he alone has two sovereign divine weapons. No. I heard that he has an ancient castle. Qi Xiong and the others trembled. With 3 sovereign divine weapons, 3,000 clones, the slaughter domain, the Eye of Heaven, and other heaven-defying means, who could be his opponent in a one-on-one battle? Chapter 36-21. I'm immortal. Qi Yefeng stabilized her body and activated the law of life, healing her injuries. Immortal. Qin Feiyang sneered and looked at the Horsetail Whisk and the Grim Reaper's sword. Hold that sovereign weapon back. No problem. The 2 sovereign weapons charged forward. With a thought from Qin Feiyang, 100 incarnations appeared. So many. Qi Xiong and the others were stunned. Qi Yefeng was helpless against 10 clones, let alone 100. Crush her body so that she can't activate the law of life. Qin Feiyang shouted. 100 clones flew out and activated their ultimates. This time around there were a whopping 200 supreme ultimates. This could be described as apocalyptic. Even Princess Huafeng and the other 3 could not help but feel their scalps go numb. Boom! As the 100 clones charged forward, Qi Yefeng's eyes were filled with mockery. Forbidden technique, Qilin's domain activated. Although your Eye of Heaven can replicate the forbidden technique, as long as I don't activate the forbidden technique, Qilin's domain, it's meaningless even if you can replicate it. Because Qilin's domain only has defensive abilities and no offensive abilities, so now you can't break the defense of Qilin's domain. Qi Yefeng sneered. That's right. Hearing Qi Yefeng's words, Qi Xiong and the others slapped their heads in realization. Although the Eye of Heaven was heaven-defying, as long as Qin Feiyang didn't get a chance, it couldn't do anything to Qi Yefeng. Before, Qi Yefeng activated the forbidden technique, Qilin's domain. Since Qilin's domain had strong offensive abilities, Qin Feiyang replicated it with the Eye of Heaven. But now, Qi Yefeng activated the forbidden technique, Qilin's domain. Although Qilin's domain had amazing defensive abilities, it didn't have any offensive abilities. Even if Qin Feiyang replicated it, the most he could do was increase the defensive abilities of the 100 clones. With the strength of the 100 clones, they couldn't break Qi Yefeng's domain. If they couldn't break Qi Yefeng's domain, they couldn't hurt her. Really? Then how long do you think the life force you possess can last? Qin Feiyang disagreed. Haha, naive. I, who have mastered the ultimate profundities of the laws of life, possess an endless amount of life force. Now it's not you exhausting me to death, it's me exhausting you to death. Qi Yefeng laughed mockingly. I see. Qin Feiyang nodded in understanding. As it turned out, with the law of life, he could activate forbidden techniques without any worries. It seemed that he had underestimated the laws of life. Since that was the case, he had even more reason to help the white-eyed wolf obtain the law of life. This was because once the white-eyed wolf grasped the law of life, he would be able to easily avert danger in the future. Let's consider this battle a draw. Qizhi smiled. What a joke. Qin Feiyang and Qi Yefeng spoke at the same time. Since they had already fought to this extent, how could it end just like that? Come on. If you have the ability, then break open the Qilin's domain. I will stand here and let you kill me. Qi Yefeng clamored. All right. I would like to see how powerful this Qilin's domain is. With a thought, Qin Feiyang fully activated his 3,000 clones. What? Qi Xiong and the rest were dumbfounded. There were indeed 3,000 clones. It was equivalent to 3,000 Qin Feiyang. Was this the rhythm of defying the heavens? Whether it's a divine technique or a forbidden technique, there is a limit. I am looking forward to it. Can 3,000 clones surpass the limit of the Qilin's domain? As Qin Feiyang's voice fell, the 3,000 clones stepped forward at the same time and landed around Qi Yefeng. The ultimate profundities of the laws of destruction and karma were instantly activated. There were a total of 6,000 ultimate profundities. What kind of scene was this? Even for a super powerful being like Qi Ji, he had never seen so many ultimates before. Could only be described with 4 words. Appalling. Looking at this scene, even Qi Yefeng's heart couldn't help but start to pound. Could the Qilin's domain withstand the bombardment of 3,000 ultimate profundities? You should feel honored. Because ever since I stepped into the complete dominator realm, you are the first person who made me activate all 3,000 clones. No, you are the second. The first person who made me activate all 3,000 clones, the fire dragon, died on White Crane Island. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. Kill. As Qin Feiyang's voice fell, the 3,000 clones roared at the same time. The 6,000 ultimate profundities instantly turned into a torrent that drowned the starry sky and charged towards the Qilin's domain. At this moment, whether it was Princess Huafeng and the other 3, or Qi Xiong and the rest, all of them stared at the Qilin's domain. Don't think that this matter had nothing to do with them. On the contrary, it had a lot to do with it. Because all of them had mastered forbidden techniques. If Qin Feiyang really had the ability to break the Qilin's domain, it meant that if they were to become enemies with Qin Feiyang in the future, the forbidden techniques that they had mastered wouldn't be able to protect them. Rumble. Accompanied by a series of loud noises, 6,000 ultimate profundities blasted onto the Qilin's domain, and a destructive aura instantly swept across all directions. Kacha. A faint voice could be heard. But this sound was like a clap of thunder in everyone's ears. The group of people hurriedly looked towards the direction of the sound, and saw that a crack suddenly appeared right above the Qilin's domain. It really works. The forbidden technique that has always been invincible was actually forcefully broken by him. Everyone's heart trembled, especially Qi Yu and the rest. In their eyes, the Qilin's domain had always been an invincible existence. Other than the ultimate profundities and the sovereign divine weapon, no one had the ability to match it at all. In the past it was indeed so. As long as the Qilin's domain was activated, it was equivalent to being in an invincible position. But they never thought that a human would actually break this invincible legend today. 6,000. 6,000 ultimate profundities. Never heard of, never seen before. If Qin Feiyang took out other ultimate profundities, coupled with the 3,000 clones, how terrifying would it be? At this moment, Qi Yu and the rest of the younger generation finally realized what a terrifying existence they had provoked. Ultimate profundities under the sovereign divine weapon, Qin Feiyang was an invincible human king. Similarly, this battle not only allowed the Qilin clan and Princess Huafeng's group of 4 to understand Qin Feiyang's true strength. Even Qin Feiyang himself finally had a clear understanding of his own strength. Eye of Heaven, 3,000 clones, slaughter domain. With these means added together, he was completely capable of competing with the various forbidden zones. Of course, it was only limited to the various clan leaders. It was also limited to the premise of not activating the sovereign divine weapon. If all of them activated the sovereign divine weapon, Qin Feiyang naturally wouldn't be able to match up to the various forbidden zones. After all, the number of sovereign divine weapons of the various forbidden zones far exceeded his. As for the Dragon King, Feng Ho, and the Qilin clan leader, these few tyrannical forbidden zone rulers naturally had to be treated differently. After all, no one knew just how terrifying their strength and means were. Kacha! In less than 3 breaths, the Qilin domain suddenly shattered. 6,000 profundities instantly drowned Qi Yefeng. The destructive aura like a volcanic eruption, shattering billions of miles of the galaxy. This was the true scene of doomsday. If this was the Qilin sacred land now, who knew how many casualties there would be? I'm immortal, Qi Yefeng roared hysterically. The life laws were like a vast ocean drowning this galaxy. Her physical body was constantly shattered and reconstructed. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but be dumbfounded by this scene. If it were any other super supreme expert, facing 6,000 profundities, they wouldn't be able to survive. But this woman relied on the life laws and was unable to shatter her physical body. One had to admit that the life laws were really powerful. However, no matter how she struggled in the end, the white-eyed wolf had to take advantage of her. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a bright light as he flashed above Qi Yefeng with a single step. An invisible mighty force gushed out and enveloped Qi Yefeng like a torrent. In the next instant, she vanished without a trace. And Qi Xiong and the others were stunned. What was he doing? Ancient Castle Hall. The white-eyed wolf was waiting. Suddenly, a powerful aura appeared, and the white-eyed wolf's spirit was instantly lifted. He turned to look at Qi Yefeng, and when he saw the life laws around Qi Yefeng, his eyes lit up. Suddenly coming to this unfamiliar place, Qi Yefeng was also a little stunned. White-eyed wolf, this person has mastered the life laws, and I can't shatter her physical body no matter how hard I try. However, I left her sovereign divine weapon outside so it won't be a threat to you. So now, let the ancient castle help to suppress her and forcefully seize her. Qin Feiyang's voice sounded in the ancient castle. You can't shatter her physical body no matter how hard you try? So powerful? The white-eyed wolf was stunned, and then became even more excited. He roared, "Ancient castle, quickly suppress her." Boom! The pressure of the sovereign divine weapon instantly enveloped them from all directions. Ancient castle? Seize! When Qi Yueying heard Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf's words, she was shocked. Could this be Qin Feiyang's third sovereign divine weapon, the ancient castle? Without any hesitation, she turned and rushed out of the door. But it was too late. The ancient castle's pressure had firmly confined her in the hall. No matter how strong you are, you can't escape the suppression of a sovereign divine weapon. This was the reason why all living things in the world feared a sovereign divine weapon. Once a sovereign divine weapon appeared, all living things in the world would have to submit. This is simply a big fat sheep. I won't hesitate to enjoy it. The white-eyed wolf laughed and activated his innate ability, enveloping Qi Yefeng. Outside, Qi Xiong and the others came back to their senses and glared at Qin Feiyang. He shouted, "Where did you send her? What do you want to do to her?" "Don't worry, you will know soon." Qin Feiyang turned around and glanced at the group of people with a smile. The 3,000 incarnations stood behind Qin Feiyang in an orderly manner, each of them exuding a shocking murderous aura. The horsetail whisk and the sword of the Grim Reaper had also stopped fighting. They flew above Qin Feiyang, their divine auras surging and intimidating in all directions. "Brother Qin, this is just a sparring match. You don't have to be so ruthless." The white-bearded old man looked at Qin Feiyang and frowned. A sparring match? Qin Feiyang was slightly taken aback, and he wanted to laugh inexplicably. Forbidden techniques, and sovereign divine weapons were all activated. If he wasn't strong enough, he would have been a lonely soul under Qi Yefeng's command. But now this person was telling him that this was just a sparring match. Chapter 36-22. We're all adults here. Can you stop joking around? If this is considered a friendly duel, then what is a real battle of life and death? Qi Ji looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "No matter what, you've already won. Please show mercy." Showing mercy also depends on the person. We came to the Qilin sacred ground to look for an old friend. We have no ill intentions. However, before we even entered the Qilin sacred ground, the Qilin clan came and humiliated us repeatedly. Fine. For the sake of an old friend, we tolerated it. We only deprived them of their laws and cultivation to teach them a lesson. However, not only did they not thank us for not killing them, they even called a group of old men to avenge them. More importantly, these old men don't have the demeanor of an elder at all. They're so aggressive. Please, Senior, if you were in their shoes, would you show mercy to them? Qin Feiyang looked at Qi Ji and said with a faint smile. Qi Ji was speechless. Was there a need to ask? If he were in their shoes, he would be furious and kill them all. I'll say it again. I, Qin Feiyang, don't cause trouble, but I'm not afraid of it. We'll talk about it later. I know how the Qilin clan treats me. If I kill one now, I'll have one less strong enemy in the future. Why not? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. How dare you? How can my Qilin clan's patriarch be killed by you rascals just because you say so? Qi Xiong shouted. The other 8 clan leaders looked at each other, their eyes filled with strong killing intent. Boom! In the next moment, a terrifying divine aura erupted from the 8 clan leaders' bodies. It was the divine aura of a sovereign divine weapon. Oh no! Princess Huafeng and the others were shocked. The 8 clan leaders were ready to use their sovereign divine weapons to kill Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang's pupils couldn't help but shrink. Qi Xiong didn't have a sovereign divine weapon because the Fire Qilin race's sovereign divine weapon was with Qi Ji. However, the 8 patriarchs in Qi Yefeng had a total of 9 sovereign divine weapons. 9 sovereign divine weapons. To be honest, it was really despairing. However, at this moment, Princess Huafeng and Pyrotechnic Glow looked at each other and stepped forward to Qin Feiyang's side. The Dafu brothers were slightly stunned. They hurriedly ran over and transmitted their voices. Your Highnesses, this isn't good. Although Lord Patriarch and Qin Feiyang have a 1,000-year agreement, he didn't say that we should stand on the same battlefront as him. Previously, when Qi Yefeng was pressuring us bitterly, wasn't it Qin Feiyang who stood out to help us out? Zhe. The Flaming Phoenix Sword and Flaming Phoenix Sacred Jade. Listen to Qin Feiyang. I'm just going with the flow to return the favor. Princess Huafeng said telepathically. As Princess Huafeng finished speaking, the Flaming Phoenix Sword and Flaming Phoenix Sacred Jade appeared. Pyrotechnic Glow looked at the Daifuka brothers. Why are you looking at us? It's up to your highness. The two were helpless. Pyrotechnic Glow looked at Princess Huafeng and asked, Sister, do you think I should help or not? Cut the crap. Do you think that Qi Xiong and the others will let us go if Qin Feiyang dies here? Previously, they already had the intention to kill us. Now that Qin Feiyang is dead, they will definitely take the opportunity to get rid of us. At that time, even if Father comes to question us, they can just casually fabricate a reason to make Father speechless. Princess Huafeng glared at him. When Pyrotechnic Glow heard this, he immediately roared with righteous indignation. Then we must help. The Flaming Phoenix Sword and Divine Phoenix Spear also charged out. For Dominator Divine Weapons, the Horsetail Whisk, the Sword of Thanatos, the Ancient Castle, and the Field of Slaughter. Compared to the 9 Dominator Divine Weapons that Qi Xiong and the others had, they were only 1 less. Even if they were no match for them, it would not be a problem for them to kill their way out. Qi Xiong was furious when he saw this scene. He glared at the siblings and shouted, Are you really determined to help Qin Feiyang? Although we are helping him, we are also helping ourselves. Princess Huafeng said lightly. Qi Xiong's eyes turned cold. He said in a deep voice, We never said that we want to kill you. You didn't say it, but that's what you think. Princess Huafeng said with a smile. Okay. I promise you here, as long as you step aside and wait for us to kill Qin Feiyang, I will personally send you back to the Feng people. Qi Xiong suppressed his killing intent and said, Who would believe your words? Pyrotechnic Glow did not hide his disdain. Qi Xiong could no longer hold it in. He turned to look at Qi Ji and shouted, Big brother, are you going to sit back and do nothing? Qi Ji looked at Qi Xiong, then looked at Qin Feiyang and the others. His eyes flickered. The tense atmosphere made the galaxy seem incomparably oppressive. Suddenly, the corner of Qin Feiyang's mouth lifted slightly, and he pursed his lips into a smile. Following closely, his mind moved. 2 figures appeared beside him. It was Qi Yefeng and the white-eyed wolf. But at this moment, Qi Yefeng looked at the white-eyed wolf with fear and hatred in her eyes, as if she was looking at a devil. Looking at the white-eyed wolf, he was high-spirited and in high spirits. Moreover, his aura had already reached the great perfection sovereign realm. Although only a short while had passed outside, a lot of time had passed in the Black Tortoise realm. With the help of the ancient castle, the white-eyed wolf had not only successfully plundered Qi Yefeng's law of life, but had also successfully merged with it. Now, the white-eyed wolf, who had mastered the 6 supreme laws, was undoubtedly an invincible existence even in the various forbidden zones. How are you going to thank me? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. The white-eyed wolf pondered for a while, then grinned and said, I will repay you with my body. Scram. Qin Feiyang's face darkened. Haha, the white-eyed wolf laughed, looked at Qi Xiong and the 8 patriarchs and said contemptuously, How boring it is to activate the sovereign divine weapon. Come, 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 all of you together. Boom! The aura of a great perfection sovereign realm erupted without reservation. Already broken through? Princess Huafeng was stunned. Qi Yefeng suddenly roared. Kill it, we must kill it. Qi Xiong and the others looked at Qi Yefeng. They were shocked when they saw her. Qi Yefeng's body was not only covered in wounds, but there was also a fist-sized hole in her lower abdomen. If this happened to others it would not be surprising, but on Qi Yefeng it was an extremely unbelievable thing. Because Qi Yefeng had mastered the law of life. Not to mention such injuries, even if her body was torn into pieces, she would be able to instantly recover. But now, the injuries on her body showed no signs of recovery. Stop looking. She no longer has the law of life. The white-eyed wolf laughed mockingly. You actually plundered her law of life? Qiyu roared in disbelief. Plundered? The white-eyed wolf looked at Qiyu in disdain, shook his head and said, No, 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 this is not plundering, this is plundering. Plundering? Qiyu was stunned. What did this mean? The white-eyed wolf waved his claws, and a wave of law of life emerged and rushed toward the Daifuka brothers. The injuries that Qi Yefeng had caused them previously were instantly healed. The Daifuka brothers were dumbfounded. What a majestic life energy. Could it be? They looked at the white-eyed wolf. Although they were now comrades, their hearts were filled with fear of the white-eyed wolf. That's right. I plundered her law of life. You can also understand that I inherited her law of life. This is my innate divine ability. Not only can I strip the other party's law of life, but I can also fuse with the plundered law. The white-eyed wolf smiled proudly. Qi Xiong and the others were stunned when they heard this. Plundered, fused. How could there be such a ridiculous special ability in this world? It must be lying to them. This is true. I saw it plundered my law of life with my own eyes, and I also saw it fuse with the law of life to step into the sovereign realm. You damned beast. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. Qi Yefeng roared. She was full of resentment and had nowhere to vent it. The law of life that she had comprehended with great difficulty was actually given to a beast. It almost made her collapse. Plundered, fused. Not to mention Qi Xiong and Qiyu. Even Qiji couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. Such a ridiculous innate divine ability simply made people shudder with fear. The white-bearded old man frowned and said, In that case, your 6 supreme laws were all plundered by you? Of course. If there are ready-made ones, why bother comprehending them? The white-eyed wolf nodded. The white-bearded old man couldn't help but smile bitterly. That's right. With such a special ability, who would want to work hard? Who would have thought that Qi Yefeng and the others would come for revenge and instead help the golden-winged wolf king? The paramount profound truths of the 6 supreme laws. Sovereign realm. Whether it was for Qin Feiyang or the golden-winged wolf king, there was a gap between the sovereign realm and the sovereign realm. No matter how many supreme laws the golden-winged wolf king grasped, he wouldn't be able to fight against a supreme expert like Qi Xiong with the cultivation of a sovereign realm. That was because cultivation determined everything. However, once it stepped into the sovereign realm, there would be a qualitative change. Its strength wouldn't just increase by a few times, it would increase by a few times or even dozens of times. In other words, once the white-eyed wolf stepped into the sovereign realm, it would be like Qin Feiyang. It would be an invincible king under the sovereign realm's divine weapon and ultimate laws. Qi Xiong, the various patriarchs, and even Qi Ji wouldn't be a match for the white-eyed wolf. After all, not only did the white-eyed wolf grasp the 6 supreme laws, but it also had a heaven-defying battle soul. It wasn't that they didn't have battle souls. Their battle souls were extremely powerful in the past, but when they stepped into the sovereign realm, they were just like the eye of heaven. They were useless and had no value. Hey. Why are all of you silent? Come on. None of you dare to come forward. Looks like without the sovereign realm's divine weapon, all of you are just a bunch of trash. The white-eyed wolf shouted wantonly. The power of the 6 supreme laws surged in the void like raging waves, exuding a terrifying aura that shocked everyone present. Chapter 36-23. Right now the white-eyed wolf was too powerful. With 6 supreme laws, it could be said that it was the number 1 in the world. Even the super powerhouses of the Forbidden Zone seemed small and insignificant in front of it. Not going to make a move? Alright, I'll force you to make a move. The white-eyed wolf laughed and activated instant time. In just an instant, it landed in front of Qi Xiong and attacked with its claw. An invisible force shattered the sky. Qi Xiong hurriedly raised his arm to block. Crack! With a crisp sound, Qi Xiong's arm shattered on the spot. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere. What? It has actually broken the limit of its physical body. Qi Xiong was shocked. What's there to be shocked about? The white-eyed wolf sneered. The four supreme laws of death, karma, destruction, and space-time instantly appeared and blasted toward Qi Xiong with the power to destroy the world. Qi Xiong's eyes trembled as he decisively activated Qilin's domain. With a loud bang, despite being bombarded by the four supreme laws, Qilin's domain was still intact. A forbidden technique was indeed worthy of being called a forbidden technique. Looking at this scene, Qi Xiong was instantly filled with confidence. That's right. The reason why Qin Feiyang was powerful was because he had the Eye of Heaven and 3,000 clones. As for the Golden-Winged Wolf King, although he was powerful, he couldn't replicate the forbidden technique and didn't have a heaven-defying technique like 3,000 clones. Therefore, no matter what, the Golden-Winged Wolf King couldn't break the forbidden technique Qilin's domain, let alone the super forbidden technique Qilin's domain. On the contrary, by relying on the super forbidden technique, he could kill the Golden-Winged Wolf King. Because the super forbidden technique Qilin's domain not only had the strongest defense, but it also had unparalleled lethality. With that thought in mind, Qi Xiong immediately activated Qilin's domain. Roar! Accompanied by a deafening beast roar, a Qilin beast shadow roared out, exuding a monstrous aura as it pounced toward the white-eyed wolf. How did he master the Qilin's domain? Qin Feiyang was shocked. Wasn't it said that only the patriarchs of various races were qualified to inherit the super forbidden technique? He had personally experienced this super forbidden technique, so he knew how terrifying the Qilin's domain was. Even though the white-eyed wolf's domain was heaven-defying, it couldn't compete. This was because forbidden techniques had already surpassed all living things, and their power could not be measured by divine techniques. I don't know. However, it's true that the various clans all have this sort of rule. Only the clan leaders of each generation can inherit the super forbidden technique. Princess Firewind shook her head. Could it be that Qilin's domain? Because only with Qilin's domain, Qilin's domain. Qin Feiyang's gaze darkened. He looked at the ingrate and shouted, "Be careful." This turn of events was truly unexpected. However, the white-eyed wolf did not show the panic that everyone had imagined. Looking at the Qilin beast shadow that was charging towards him, there seemed to be a hint of hesitation in his eyes. What are you hesitating for? Could it be that this wolf cub had been hiding some shocking technique? Qin Feiyang was also confused. To be honest, although he had grown up with the white-eyed wolf was the only one he couldn't see through. Because ever since the white-eyed wolf stepped into the false god realm, it had been unfathomable. For example, depriving cultivation, depriving laws, fusing laws. Initially, no one knew about these heaven-defying abilities. It was the white-eyed wolf who slowly revealed them. The Qilin's domain attacked. The white-eyed wolf suddenly grinned and said, "Since I've stepped into the perfection sovereign realm and obtained the life law, I don't need to hide anymore." Boom! As its voice fell, a monstrous aura burst out from the white-eyed wolf's forehead. This is... Qin Feiyang stared at the white-eyed wolf's forehead in surprise. This aura didn't come from the white-eyed wolf itself. It came from the flame pattern on the white-eyed wolf's forehead. All along, he had a doubt in his heart. Why would there be a flame pattern on the white-eyed wolf's forehead? What was the meaning of this flame pattern? But he didn't expect. At this moment, this flame pattern burst out with such a terrifying divine power. Moreover, this divine power wasn't any weaker than the Qilin's. It really has other tricks up its sleeve, Princess Huifeng murmured. She glanced at Qin Feiyang and saw that Qin Feiyang was also shocked. Obviously, even Qin Feiyang didn't know. This bastard, he really hit it well. At the same time, Qi Xiong, and the others also had a look of surprise. They thought that the white-eyed wolf's tricks were only the 6 ultimate laws and the innate divine ability. They never expected it to have such a shocking trump card. A woo, just as everyone was extremely surprised, accompanied by a sky-shaking howl, the flame pattern on the white-eyed wolf's forehead suddenly shot out a blood-red light. This blood-red light seemed to have been transformed by a peerless beast. It emitted an unparalleled ferocious aura, causing everyone present to tremble uncontrollably. But it wasn't over yet. The next moment, the blood-red light in the sky transformed into a giant wolf that was tens of thousands of feet tall. The giant wolf was completely blood-red, as if it had been soaked in blood. It emitted a monstrous evil aura. What was even more strange was that there were 10 pairs of blood-red wings on the back of this giant wolf. The 10 pairs of blood-red wings spread out and covered the sky. Furthermore, there was a pattern between the giant wolf's eyebrows. However, it was different from the pattern on the white-eyed wolf's forehead. The white-eyed wolf's forehead had a flame pattern. However, this giant wolf's forehead had a pattern that was shaped like an eye. At first glance it looked like a real blood-red eye. Looking at the giant blood-red wolf in the sky, Qi Xiong's eyes trembled as if he had seen something unbelievable. His face was full of disbelief. So what if you have a super forbidden technique? The white-eyed wolf sneered. As it waved its paw, the giant blood-red wolf immediately stepped into the air. Not only was it ferocious, but it also emitted a divine aura that could shock all beasts. At this moment, even divine phoenixes and qilins like Princess Huafeng and Qi Ji couldn't help but feel a sense of oppression from the depths of their divine souls. It was as if they were facing the overlord of all beasts. Qi Xiong was the same. An uncontrollable fear rose in his heart. This was not fear of the white-eyed wolf, but fear of the giant blood-red wolf. Boom! The giant blood-red wolf covered thousands of miles in one step, shattering the starry sky. The moment it met the qilin beast shadow, it slapped down with its paw. The qilin beast shadow howled and collapsed in the void. What? Even a super forbidden technique is so weak. Qin Feiyang was dumbfounded. Qi Yu and the other young people were scared out of their wits. This was too terrifying. One had to know. This was not a forbidden technique, qilin domain, but a super forbidden technique, qilin sacred domain. Ant. The white-eyed wolf's face was full of contempt at this moment. The giant blood-red wolf slapped down with its paw again. The qilin sacred domain around Qi Xiong also shattered with a crack. Then the giant blood-red wolf's paw, which was as huge as a mountain, slapped down on Qi Xiong. With a scream, Qi Xiong's body shattered on the spot. Blood stained the sky. That's it. The white-eyed wolf laughed wildly. He activated the moment of time and rushed to Qi Xiong's side, grabbing Qi Xiong's divine soul. Golden-winged wolf king, please have mercy. Qi Ji and the white-bearded old man's faces changed as they shouted. Qi Xiong did not have the law of life. Once his body was shattered, he would be at the mercy of the white-eyed wolf king. Hey! The white-eyed wolf looked at the two of them and grinned. Then it slowly closed its paw. No, Qi Xiong's divine soul shouted in horror. He also felt the murderous intent of the white-eyed wolf. It's so powerful. It is truly invincible now. Pyrotechnic Glow's face was full of admiration. At first he did not care about the white-eyed wolf. However, as he gradually understood the white-eyed wolf, he had already regarded the white-eyed wolf as his goal and idol. Then, he looked at Princess Huafeng with a strange light in his eyes. Some were happy and some were sad. Qi Yafeng, the other 8 patriarchs, Qi Yu and the others were all terrified. Such means were too terrifying. Qin Feiyang was already shocking enough, but they did not expect another white-eyed wolf to jump out. What kind of monsters were these? Qi Ji saw the intense murderous intent of the white-eyed wolf and said, Golden-winged wolf king, I beg you, please have mercy. Although Qi Xiong was rude and unreasonable and did not get along with him, he was still his younger brother, and a supreme expert of the Fire Qilin clan. If Qi Xiong really died in the hands of the white-eyed wolf, it would be an irreparable loss for the Fire Qilin clan. However, the white-eyed wolf turned a deaf ear to him. Its claws slowly closed. Qi Xiong's divine soul was being destroyed bit by bit. Brother Qin. Seeing this, Qi Ji hurriedly looked at Qin Feiyang for help. Because only Qin Feiyang could restrain the white-eyed wolf here. Senior's face, when Qi Yu and the others came to provoke us, this junior had already given them face. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, grabbed the death god's sword, and directly slashed at Qi Yefeng. Accompanied by a shrill scream, Qi Yefeng's body also shattered on the spot. Following closely, Qin Feiyang also grabbed Qi Yefeng's divine soul and said with a faint smile, "All these years, since we stepped into the sky cloud realm, we have been hunted down, especially by the dragons and ice phoenixes. In order to kill us, it can be said that they have spent a lot of money. Since the opportunity is now in front of us, why don't I take this opportunity to kill one to warn the others?" Kill one to warn the others. Qi Ji's eyes trembled. It seemed that the killing intent of this man and wolf could no longer be quelled. Boom! The next moment, the aura of a sovereign divine weapon erupted from Qi Ji's body. "Senior, what is the meaning of this?" Qin Feiyang looked at Qi Ji. This person, although he looked kind, was actually very dark and shrewd. Qi Ji sighed, "You want to use my patriarch to intimidate the dragons and Feng people? How can I sit back and do nothing?" As Qi Ji's voice fell, the other 8 patriarchs walked to Qi Ji's side one after another. The aura of a sovereign divine weapon rolled in this galaxy like a tide. "Hey!" The white-eyed wolf bared its teeth. This kind of situation was more interesting. Chapter 36-24. The tense atmosphere reappeared once again. And this time, because of Qi Ji's participation, the atmosphere was even more solemn. Qi Ji was the patriarch of the Fire Kailan clan. The Fire Kailan was the leader of the Kailan clan. Therefore, Qi Ji represented the entire Kailan clan. So lively. But suddenly, accompanied by laughter, a fiery red beast shadow appeared in the Star River. This voice, Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf were taken aback. They hurriedly looked in the direction of the voice and saw a fire Qilin standing nearby. As he looked at the fire Qilin, a familiar feeling immediately emerged from the depths of Qin Feiyang's heart. "Long time no see." The fire Kailan looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf with a smile in its flaming eyes. "Long time no see." Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. After so many years, the fire Kailan had not changed except for its cultivation. It was as friendly as ever. "Qilin Saint." At the same time, Qi Ji and the others also bowed. "What? Qilin Saint?" Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf were stunned. Was the Fire Kailan status so high in the Kailan clan? Even the patriarchs of the various clans had to bow. Princess Huafeng and the others were also surprised. They had never heard that the Kailan clan had a Qilin Saint, and he was an old friend that Qin Feiyang and the others were looking for. This relationship was a little scary. The Fire Kailan glanced at Qi Ji and the others, then looked at Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng's divine souls. Then it looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf and said with a smile, "You should at least give me some face." The man and the wolf looked at each other and smiled. They directly let go of Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng's divine souls. After the two of them were freed, they immediately rushed to Qi Ji and the others. Their faces were full of horror. Qi Ji and the others were also relieved. Fortunately, the Qilin Saint arrived. Otherwise, even if they attacked, Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng would definitely die. Because their divine souls were in the hands of Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf, it would be a piece of cake for them to destroy their divine souls. "Thank you." The fire Qilin smiled. "Why are you still so polite?" The white-eyed wolf bared its fangs. Back in the Forgotten Continent, in order to save Qin Feiyang, the fire Qilin had encountered many dangers. If it wasn't for the fact that the Mu family wanted to subdue the fire Qilin would have already been killed. Although it was Qin Feiyang and the others who went to save it later, this kindness could not be forgotten. The fire Qilin smiled, looked at Qi Ji and the others and said, "Let's end this matter here. Kirin Saint's son, you can't side with them like this." Qi Yefeng roared, "These two bastards, not only did they deprive me of the law of life, but they also almost destroyed my soul." But before Qi Yefeng could finish, the fire Qilin said indifferently, "Didn't you ask for it? If you don't provoke them, will they deprive you of the law of life?" But Qi Yefeng was unwilling. "No buts." The fire Qilin shook its head and said coldly, "This is the order of the master, it ends here." Hearing this, Qi Yefeng's gaze trembled, and she immediately lowered her head. "Master?" Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf were puzzled. Princess Huafeng said telepathically, as the Kirin Saint's son, His master must be the Kirin master without a doubt. Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other, walked to the front of the fire Qilin, and laughed. You're doing well. You're mocking me, right? The fire Qilin pouted. How is that possible? Truth. If we knew you were doing so well, we would have come to seek refuge with you. The white-eyed wolf bared its fangs. The fire Qilin was speechless. Let's not talk about this first. Qin Feiyong stopped the white-eyed wolf from speaking again, looked at the fire Qilin and said in a low voice, I have something to talk to you about. What is it? The fire Qilin was suspicious. It's something very important. After Qin Feiyong finished speaking, he put away the death god sword and the horsetail whisk, and then brought the white-eyed wolf and the fire Qilin into the black tortoise realm. As for Princess Huafeng and the other three, now that the crisis had been resolved, the Kirin clan would definitely not hurt them anymore. However, Princess Huafeng was extremely dissatisfied with Qin Feiyong's actions. He actually left them behind again. What was the matter that couldn't be seen? On the other side, Qi Yueying said angrily, I'm not willing, I'm really not willing. One of the patriarchs sighed. This is the Kirin master's intention. What can we do even if we're not willing? The Kirin master is obviously protecting them. In any case, I'm not convinced. Qi Yueying snorted coldly. When the patriarchs heard this, they all fell silent. Indeed, this resentment was really hard to dispel. Qi Yu's eyes flashed with a hint of resentment, and he said telepathically, Father, I have an idea. Qi Xiong looked at him suspiciously. Thunder punishment heaven stairway. Qi Yu thought. Thunder punishment heaven stairway. Hearing this, Qi Xiong's eyes flashed with a bright light. At the same time, Black Tortoise Realm. The fire Qilin scanned the current Black Tortoise Realm and exclaimed, I never thought that the legendary Black Tortoise Realm would be like this. It is truly an eye-opener. The reason why the Black Tortoise Realm is able to reach this day is all thanks to the ancient castle. Qin Feiyong smiled and lowered his head to look at the ancient castle, his eyes filled with gratitude. If not for the ancient castle fusing with the Black Tortoise Realm, the Black Tortoise Realm would not have the time array. Without the time array, it would be impossible for it to grow so quickly. This holy artifact is indeed beyond imagination. The fire Qilin lowered his head to size up the ancient castle and nodded with a smile. Qin Feiyong said, The reason I came to find you this time is for the ancient castle. Huh? The fire Qilin looked at Qin Feiyong in surprise. How did the ancient castle have anything to do with it? Follow me. Qin Feiyong flew towards the ancient castle. The fire Qilin and the white-eyed wolf quickly followed. Qin Feiyong stood in front of the ancient castle and explained, According to the ancient castle, there is another layer of seal that requires our blood essence to break. You have my blood essence? The fire Qilin was stunned. Yes. I don't know why. But since the ancient castle said so, it must be able to break the seal. Qin Feiyong took out a drop of blood essence. The fire Qilin looked suspiciously at the ancient castle, and also took out a drop of blood essence. The white-eyed wolf at the side was filled with anticipation. Qin Feiyong and the fire Qilin exchanged a glance and waved their hands at the same time. 2 drops of blood essence flew into the ancient castle, landing in the middle of the hall. Wang! In that instant, rays of black divine light bloomed. Pei Daisen and Pei Hongyu were tending to the Longjing tea trees in the tea garden, when they sensed the movements in the ancient castle. When they saw Qin Feiyong, the white-eyed wolf, and the fire Qilin, they were stunned. Where did this fire Qilin come from? But soon, they came back to their senses and looked at the ancient castle in surprise. Young lord, what's going on? Don't worry, this is a good thing. The white-eyed wolf chuckled. A good thing? The siblings were puzzled. As time passed, the divine light emitted by the ancient castle became even more dazzling. Suddenly, on the floor of the ancient castle hall, a dazzling array formation appeared. Time array formation. The siblings were shocked. Following the appearance of the time array formation, the entire Black Tortoise world sky was filled with divine light, startling all living beings. They all thought that a miracle had appeared and couldn't help but kneel on the ground in worship. A few breaths later, the time array formation left the ancient castle and gradually rose into the sky, then expanded infinitely. In the end, the entire Black Tortoise world sky became a huge array formation, shining with dazzling light. Qin Feiyong, the white-eyed wolf, and the Fire Qilin all looked up at the sky. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf's eyes were filled with anticipation. The Fire Qilin's eyes were filled with confusion. What was going on? Not to mention the time array formation. How did the ancient castle's seal have anything to do with it? Time passed breath by breath. About an hour later, the time array formation in the sky gradually merged into the sky and disappeared. All the strange phenomena slowly returned to normal. The moment the time array merged into the sky, Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled slightly. Then a look of ecstasy appeared on his face because a message appeared in his mind. How is it? The white-eyed wolf asked anxiously. 5,000 years. Qin Feiyang was so excited that he couldn't even speak clearly. Hearing this, the white-eyed wolf was also overjoyed. What 5,000 years? The Fire Qilin and Pei Dason looked at them suspiciously. The time array. The time array of the Black Tortoise world changed from 1,000 years a day to 500 years a day. Qin Feiyang looked at the three of them and shouted excitedly, "What?" When the Fire Qilin and Pei Dason heard this, their eyes were filled with shock. 1,000 years a day, 5,000 years a day, this wasn't just 2 times, it was 5 times. Let's not talk about the Fire Qilin first. Even the Pei Dason siblings, who had lived for more than half their lives, had never seen a time array that was 5,000 years a day. At this moment they couldn't help but feel lucky. If their father hadn't decided to follow Qin Feiyang back then, would they be able to enjoy such benefits now? Not only for them but for the entire Black Tortoise world, this was a great blessing. 5,000 years, heh. Now, I don't envy that little rabbit at all. The white-eyed wolf chuckled. In the past, every time he came to Sky Cloud Island, he would think about the little rabbit's time array. After all, a time array that was 5,000 years a day was a fatal temptation in anyone's eyes. However, the little rabbit was very stingy. Not to mention cultivating it, it wasn't even willing to look at it. Now he was finally at ease. Now that the Black Tortoise world also had such a time array, he didn't need to envy others anymore. The Fire Qilin came back to his senses and looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf. He said unhappily, "So the reason you came to find me was to undo the seal, not because you missed me." The man and wolf were stunned when they heard this, then they rolled their eyes. Just kidding. Although the time array of the Black Tortoise world has evolved, you can't be too happy. The Fire Qilin warned. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf were suspicious. The Fire Qilin said, because the Feng people, dragons, and Qilins all have time arrays that are 5,000 years a day. So that's it. The white-eyed wolf chuckled and waved his paws. We already knew. Don't worry, no matter what, we will do our best against these people from the Forbidden Lands. If the dragons and the Feng people had time arrays like this, then the Qilins would definitely be no exception. Chapter 36-25. You know, the Fire Qilin was slightly taken aback. He shook his head and smiled. Looks like I was worried for nothing. Qin Feiyang shook his head and laughed. Suddenly, he frowned and asked the Fire Qilin, "Who exactly is that white-bearded old man?" White-bearded old man. The Fire Qilin was stunned. Qin Feiyang said, "He's Qi Shaoyun's teacher." Him. The Fire Qilin smiled in realization. After pondering for a while, he looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf and said, "Don't underestimate this person. His true form is a white jade Qilin. He once saved Qi Shaoyun." White jade Qilin. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other. That's right. The Fire Qilin nodded and continued. Although he once saved Qi Shaoyun, Qi Ji respects him so much not because of that. Then why? The white-eyed wolf was curious. Because of his strength. His strength is the strongest existence in the entire Qilin clan. Excluding my master, the Qilin master. People like Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng can't even fight back in front of him. The Fire Qilin said. That can't be. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf were shocked. Why would I lie to you? The Fire Qilin looked unhappy and said, however, I'm not sure how strong he is. In any case, my master told me to respect him. Looks like we've really underestimated him in the past. Qin Feiyang muttered. The white-eyed wolf pondered for a while and asked suspiciously, if he's so strong, why is he still an outsider? With his strength and status, He can easily occupy a place for the white jade Qilin in the Qilin sacred ground. There are very few white jade Qilins in the first place. There's no need for that. Or maybe he doesn't want to be involved in these troublesome matters. The fire Qilin shook his head. Qin Feiyong nodded and asked, "Then this old man told us that there are 3 old friends in the Qilin sacred ground. Who are they?" "Them. I reckon that they have already received the news that you have entered the Qilin Holy Land. Maybe he's waiting outside the Star River." The fire Qilin didn't say it out loud and kept them in suspense. Qin Feiyong and White-Eyed Wolf looked at each other, their hearts filled with anticipation. "Wait, why don't I see anyone else?" The fire Qilin suddenly glanced at the Devil's Land and asked suspiciously. "They are all cultivating in seclusion outside." Qin Feiyong smiled and asked, "Do you want us to take you around for a stroll? The future is long." Fire Qilin said, "Understood." Qin Feiyong nodded and closed his eyes. His perception instantly enveloped the entire Black Tortoise world. The next moment, Qin Feiyong's faintly discernible voice resounded in the minds of every living being. "Everyone, there is no need to panic." Previously, because the Black Tortoise world's time array evolved, a series of strange phenomena appeared. Now the Black Tortoise world's time array is 5,000 years in a day. Everyone, cultivate well. After speaking, Qin Feiyong left the Black Tortoise world with the fire Qilin and White-Eyed Wolf. 5,000 years in a day. There is actually such a terrifying time array in this world? This is really an eye-opener. Thank you, Lord Ruler. Everyone was amazed and grateful at the same time, thinking that this was a blessing from Qin Feiyong. Of course, to them it was indeed a blessing. Outside, the Star River. After Qin Feiyong and White-Eyed Wolf appeared, their gazes swept past the white-bearded old man. Who would have thought that the cowardly old man in the tea house was actually such a terrifying existence? "Let's go." The fire Qilin glanced at the crowd and smiled at Qin Feiyong and White-Eyed Wolf. "Qilin Saint's son, wait." But at this moment, Qi Xiong stepped forward and looked at the fire Qilin. The fire Qilin looked at Qi Xiong suspiciously. Qi Ji and the others also looked at him with a puzzled expression. "This matter is indeed our fault. First, these unfilial children provoked us for no reason. Then we did not understand right from wrong. I am here to apologize to Qin Feiyong and Wolf King for what happened before." Qi Xiong said. "What's going on?" Qin Feiyong and White-Eyed Wolf looked at each other. In the blink of an eye, his temperament had changed so much? Princess Huafeng could not help but be very surprised. She transmitted her voice, "Daifuku, is this Qi Xiong's character?" "No, it doesn't." Daifuku shook his head. He still understood Qi Xiong. How could he be such a person? Just when everyone thought that they were going to bury the hatchet, Qi Xiong changed the topic and said, "But Qin Feiyong and Golden Wing Wolf King deprived Qi Yu and the others of their laws and cultivation, and even robbed Qi Yefeng of her life laws. Isn't this a bit too much?" "As expected, it's not that simple," Qin Feiyong muttered. The fire Qilin frowned and said, "Then what do you want?" Qi Xiong said, "Since I have already sincerely apologized, then I also ask Qin Feiyong and Golden Wing Wolf King to show their sincerity and make a trip to the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs." "What? Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs?" The fire Qilin's pupils shrank. Princess Huafeng and the other 3 also changed their expressions, as if this Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs was something extraordinary. At the same time, Qi Ji and the others also looked at Qi Xiong in shock. But very quickly, Qi Yefeng and the others reacted and nodded. "That's right, as long as Qin Feiyong and Golden Wing Wolf King head to the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs and successfully reach the top, then from now on, we will treat them as our own clansmen." "This is a rude request, I will not agree." The fire Qilin shook its head. Qi Xiong said, "If the Holy Son of Qilin does not agree, we naturally do not dare to say anything. But can you influence Qin Feiyong and Golden Wing Wolf King's decision?" The fire Qilin raised its eyebrows. "What exactly is the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs?" Qin Feiyong and White-Eyed Wolf looked at the fire Qilin suspiciously. The fire Qilin thought, "This is a place where 9 out of 10 die?" 9 out of 10 die? Qin Feiyong was startled. "That's right. The Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs is a type of extreme punishment, specially used to punish the Qilin clansmen who have committed a huge mistake." The heavenly stairs has a total of 999 steps, which are enveloped by the thunder tribulation. The higher you go, the more terrifying the power of the thunder tribulation is. Not to mention outsiders, even the Chilean clansmen have never succeeded in reaching the top since ancient times, because they would have been killed by the thunder tribulation halfway up, their souls and bodies destroyed. The fire Chilean secretly explained. Damn! The white-eyed wolf cursed angrily. These people were really sinister. But the fire Chilean opened its mouth again, but it did not continue speaking, as if it was hesitating about something. But what? Qin Feiyang and White-Eyed Wolf were puzzled. The fire Chilean shook its head and said, "It's better that you guys don't know, lest you really go and take the risk. Are we the kind of people who are impulsive?" Since the fire Chilean did not say anything, Qin Feiyang and White-Eyed Wolf were naturally even more curious. The fire Chilean struggled for a moment and transmitted its voice. I once heard Master mention that although the thunder punishment heavenly stairs is a type of extreme punishment, it also hides a great fortune. Fortune? Qin Feiyang and White-Eyed Wolf were startled. That's right. The fire Chilean nodded. The White-Eyed Wolf urged, "What kind of fortune is it? Can you say it clearly?" The fire Chilean pondered for a moment and transmitted its voice. "It's possible to see the ultimate profound." What? Qin Feiyang and White-Eyed Wolf's eyes trembled. There was actually such a fortune. Was it real or fake? Why did it sound so unreliable? Master definitely won't lie to me. Wait. It seems that someone has climbed the thunder punishment heavenly stairs before. The fire Chilean suddenly looked at the white-bearded old man. Qin Feiyang and White-Eyed Wolf heard this and could not help but look at the white-bearded old man. The white-bearded old man was somewhat baffled. "Why are you all looking at me, this old man?" The fire Chilean transmitted its voice. "It seems to be many years ago, probably before we were born. He seems to have successfully reached the top." Qin Feiyang and White-Eyed Wolf's eyes narrowed. "I seem to remember Master saying that, but it's been too long, so I can't remember it clearly." The fire Chilean shook its head. The man and wolf lowered their heads and pondered. If they could really see the ultimate profound, even if it was just a glance from afar, it would be a great fortune for them. But was that the case? Qi Xiong provoked. "Qin Feiyang, golden-winged wolf king. You can already be called human kings and beast gods now. Don't tell me that you don't even dare to do this?" Humph. The white-eyed wolf raised its eyebrows and looked at Qi Xiong, preparing to speak. "Don't be anxious. I'll go and confirm with Master. Because the thunder punishment heavenly stairs hidden good fortune. Even Qi Xiong and the others don't know about it. But even if it's true, I sincerely hope that you guys don't take the risk." The fire Chilean transmitted its voice. "If it's true, we must go. Not for Qi Xiong and the others, but just to see the divine might of the ultimate profound." Qin Feiyang thought. "I knew it would be like this." The fire Chilean smiled bitterly. It really hadn't changed at all. It looked at Qi Xiong and the others and said lightly, "We'll talk about the thunder punishment heavenly stairs later. Let's go out first." Since Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf didn't directly refuse, Qi Xiong and the others naturally couldn't continue to make things difficult. Besides, they also knew their limits. Even if Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf refused, they didn't dare to force it. After all, the Chilean master had already said that it was time to stop. When the group walked out of the galaxy, the white-bearded old man waved his hand, and the dark law that sealed the entrance immediately dissipated. This dark law. Qin Feiyang's pupils contracted. Although the dark law disappeared very quickly from that moment, he caught a trace of an extremely terrifying sense of crisis. What was going on? How could a mere dark law give him such a sense of crisis? He turned to the white-eyed wolf next to him and found that the white-eyed wolf was also looking at the white-bearded old man with a look of horror. "What's wrong? You also felt something strange?" Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. "Yes. He has mastered the supreme profound of the 6 supreme laws. Looking at his dark law, I feel fear. Could it be that his dark law contains the aura of the ultimate profound?" The white-eyed wolf was bewildered. Ultimate profound. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled as well. This seemed to be the only explanation, because the only things that could surpass the supreme profound of the 6 supreme laws were the ultimate laws and the sovereign divine weapon. However, this was too unbelievable. The white-bearded old man had mastered the ultimate profound? No. If he had really mastered the profound, even if he was an outsider, Qi Xiong and the others wouldn't dare to be presumptuous in front of him. Perhaps the white-bearded old man had only just begun to understand the true ultimate profound and hadn't comprehended it yet. If that was the case, then the ultimate profound was too powerful. The white-bearded old man's dark law was already so powerful at first glance. If he comprehended the ultimate profound, wouldn't it be comparable to heaven's might? Chapter 36-26. Outside the Milky Way. There was a sea of people at this time. When Qin Feiyang and the others walked out, their faces were full of disbelief. What happened? Qin Feiyang and the golden-winged wolf king were unharmed? Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng had both lost their physical bodies. Could it be that Qin Feiyang and the golden-winged wolf king won this battle? But how is this possible? Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng were both super strong. How could a mere human and a wolf cub be stronger than them? There was definitely something wrong. Qi Xiong and the golden-winged wolf king's bodies were definitely not caused by them. Yes, even if the truth was in front of them, no one believed it. Give me a moment. Fire Qilin told Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf, then turned around and flew away without looking back. What's going on? Qi Xiong and the others looked at Qin Feiyang, the white-eyed wolf, and Fire Qilin's backs in confusion. But Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf did not explain and scanned the crowd in front of them. There were probably hundreds of thousands of people here. They were all Qilins. There were men and women, old and young. There were also some Qilins who did not transform into human form. Further away, there was a large number of Qilins. It was hard to imagine how many Qilins there were in the Qilin sacred ground. But at this moment, their faces were full of doubts. Usually, it's hard to even meet one Qilin outside. But there are so many here. How should we describe this? Yes. 3 words, as many as a dog. The white-eyed wolf bared his teeth. Bastard! Who are you calling a dog? Say it again if you have the guts. The white-eyed wolf's words fell clearly into the ears of all the Qilins. They immediately glared at the white-eyed wolf. Especially Qi Xiong and the 9 patriarchs, they were furious. How dare he call them dogs in public? How arrogant! Don't misunderstand, it's just an adjective. Of course, if you want to say it, I won't object. The white-eyed wolf grinned. Bastard! I'll kill you. Looking at the arrogant white-eyed wolf, a few youths in the crowd gritted their teeth and pounced on Qin. No. Qi's expression quickly. But it was too late. The white-eyed wolf took a step forward and slapped out with its claws. Several people screamed on the spot as their bodies shattered in the void. Blood dyed the sky and only their souls remained. So Wei. They Qilin God Wei. Wei Qilin Wei. The Wei Qilins were shocked. Don't even mention a mere large success dominator or perfect dominator. Even a perfect dominator is nothing in my eyes. The ingrate's face was full of disdain. As he spoke, he glanced at Qi Xiong. Qi Xiong sensed the ingrate's gaze and immediately trembled with anger. Quiet down, all of you. Qi Ji looked at the noisy clansmen and shouted with a gloomy face. The battle in the galaxy was already embarrassing enough. How could they bring shame to the Qilin race? At the same time, Qin Feiyang turned a blind eye to this scene, and turned a deaf ear to it. His gaze was constantly scanning the surrounding crowd, as if he was looking for a familiar face. This was because the Fire Qilin had said that the other 3 old friends might be waiting for them outside the galaxy. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang's eyes focused on the back of the crowd. He looked pleasantly surprised and said in a low voice, "White-eyed wolf, look." The white-eyed wolf was stunned. He followed Qin Feiyang's gaze and looked over. He was also surprised. After confirming it several times, he was also pleasantly surprised. "Get out of the way." The white-eyed wolf roared, and a terrifying pressure rolled out. The Qilin in front felt an uncontrollable fear and retreated to the sides. Then, a man and a wolf walked toward the outside of the crowd. At the back of the crowd stood 2 men and a dog. One of them was a middle-aged man, wearing a fitted white robe. He had strands of white hair on his temples and his face looked weathered. The other man was a young man in black. His figure was as tall as a pine tree. His facial features were distinct, and he had an extraordinary temperament. Next to the two of them was a big dog. Its body was more than 10 meters long. Its hair was as if dyed with blood, and it emitted a shocking murderous aura. The most terrifying thing was, this big dog actually had 9 huge heads. 9 heads, 18 blood eyes like 18 big lanterns flashing fiercely. That's right. This big dog was the Hell Divine Hound. The Hell Divine Hound was known as the guardian of hell. It was ferocious in nature and its methods were ruthless. Especially the 9-headed Hell Divine Hound, it was basically the strongest existence. But at this moment, whether it was the Hell Divine Hound or the two humans, there was a smile in their eyes. Tanwu, Hell Divine Hound, Uncle Divine Beast. Qin Feiyong walked over and looked at the 3 familiar faces. He was extremely excited. That's right. The 2 men and 1 dog in front of him were Tanwu and the Hell Divine Hound, as well as the Uncle Divine Beast who had helped him many times. He never thought that they would also be in the Qilin Holy Land. The Hell Divine Hound bared its teeth and looked at the white-eyed wolf. It said in a fierce tone, "Just now you said something about dogs. Do you have any prejudice against dogs?" Hey! The white-eyed wolf also bared its teeth. It was an extremely happy thing to be able to meet a few old friends in the Sky Cloud realm. Long time no see, Brother Qin is still as elegant as ever. Tan Wu laughed. Long time no see, Brother Tan is not the same. His elegance is not less than before. Qin Feiyong also laughed. They know each other too? Aren't you talking nonsense? Tan Wu and the others were all brought by the Qilin Saint's son. The Qilin Saint's son knows Qin Feiyong and the Golden-Winged Wolf King. Tan Wu and the others naturally know Qin Feiyong and the others. The Qilins around muttered. Uncle Beast God looked at Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf like a kind elder. He was quite appreciative and gratified of Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf's current achievements. He said with a smile, "It's been hard on you all these years. How are you all?" "We're all good." Qin Feiyong nodded. The white-eyed wolf pursed its lips and said, "We went everywhere to look for you. I didn't expect you all to live better than us." "Looking for us?" 2 people and a dog looked at the white-eyed wolf in a daze. "What else? Since we entered the ancient world, we have been looking for your whereabouts. After leaving the ancient world and coming to the Sky Cloud realm, we haven't given up. You all are good. You are all alive and well. You all know that we have come to the Sky Cloud realm, but you all hide in the Qilin Holy Land and enjoy life. At least come out and tell us that you are safe." The white-eyed wolf snorted coldly. "You have been looking for us." The 2 people and a dog looked at each other, and they couldn't help but feel touched. The white-eyed wolf looked at their reaction and frowned. "Don't tell us that you didn't know? We really didn't know before." Tan Wu smiled bitterly. "Huh." The white-eyed wolf was stunned. "We also heard from the Fire Qilin a few days ago that you all also came to the Sky Cloud realm. Even before, when we heard the news that you all entered the Qilin Holy Land, we thought it was a dream." The Divine Beast uncle shook his head. The white-eyed wolf frowned and said, "Are you kidding? We have long been famous in the Sky Cloud realm. You are really as shameless as ever. How can you brag about yourself?" The Hell God Dog glared at the white-eyed wolf in disdain and then said, "It is true that we only found out a few days ago. Although you were indeed famous in the Sky Cloud realm, your reputation did not spread to the Qilin Holy Land." "Is that so?" The white-eyed wolf nodded in realization. Thinking about it carefully, it was indeed so. Whether it was the Qilin Holy Land, the Dragon Nest, or the Phoenix Nest, they had never appeared in front of the world. Therefore, relatively speaking, the news was also relatively closed. Moreover, even if the upper echelons of the Qilin clan knew, they might not tell Tan Wu and the others. In short, it was a simple sentence. Tan Wu and the others were in the Qilin Holy Land, which was equivalent to being in a closed environment. If the Qilin clan did not reveal the news to them, they would know nothing about the outside world. Tan Wu took a deep breath and said with a smile, "No matter what, I have to thank you for not forgetting us." Qin Feiyong smiled and was about to speak. This time, the Fire Qilin broke through the air and came over. Looking at Tan Wu and the Hell God Dog, he said with a smile, "You guys are really here. Old friends are here, how can we not come and take a look?" Tan Wu smiled. The fire Qilin landed beside Qin Feiyang and said in a low voice, "Let's catch up later." I asked Master, "The thunder punishment heavenly stairway does indeed contain good fortune, and the white-bearded old man did succeed in reaching the top back then. So, he has really peaked at the threshold of the ultimate profound?" Qin Feiyang was bewildered. "Maybe. But Master didn't say it clearly. However, I still advise you guys not to go. After all, from ancient times until now, other than the white-bearded old man, even the Qilin clan's past patriarchs have never succeeded in reaching the top." The fire Qilin said in a deep voice. "What are you guys talking about?" Tan Wu and the other two and the Hell God Dog looked at them suspiciously. The fire Qilin sighed. "They want to go to the thunder punishment heavenly stairway." "What?" The two of them and the Hell God Dog's expressions changed. "Feiyang, White-Eyed Wolf, this thunder punishment heavenly stairway is not a joke. Last time, we witnessed with our own eyes that a great perfection dominator realm Qilin was punished for committing a big mistake. In the end, it was still halfway there when it was completely annihilated." The divine beast uncle hurriedly advised. In the Qilin clan, the thunder punishment heavenly stairway was an existence that caused people to tremble in fear. Even outsiders like them couldn't help but feel their scalps go numb when they heard about it. If there's no risk, where is the good fortune? Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. That's right. Wealth comes from danger. As long as we can glimpse the ultimate profound, even if it's a narrow escape, it's worth it. Let's talk about it later. It's not like no one has succeeded before. Didn't the white-bearded old man successfully reach the top? Since he can do it, why can't we do it? The white-eyed wolf nodded. Now is not the same as before. In the past it could plunder and fuse the laws. But now, facing the ultimate profound, it also needed to comprehend it himself, so naturally, it couldn't be lazy anymore. Chapter 36-27. The white-eyed wolf's talent wasn't bad at all. And it was also a very persevering guy. For example, when it was in the ancient world, it had always been in seclusion in the black tortoise world and never ran around. As for coming to the black tortoise world, it indeed had the qualifications to be lazy. After all, who asked it to have such a heaven-defying talent? But now, it who had already grasped 6 profound meanings, didn't dare to be lazy anymore. Otherwise, it would be caught up by Qin Feiyang and the madman sooner or later. Although Qin Feiyang and the madman had only comprehended 2 profound meanings, the white-eyed wolf never dared to doubt their speed. The most important thing was, now that the white-eyed wolf had reached the peak, other than the ultimate profound, there was nothing else to pursue. Moreover, its current goal was no longer the patriarchs of the various races, but existences like the Dragon King, Feng Ho, and the Qilin Master. Although it didn't know how strong these 3 were, or if they had grasped the ultimate profound, as the 3 lords of the 3 forbidden lands, it definitely couldn't doubt their strength. In one sentence, if it wanted to lead the human race to revive, if it wanted to truly contend with the 3 forbidden lands, it must comprehend the ultimate profound. Tan Wu glanced at the fire Qilin and Uncle Divine Beast, then looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf with a smile. "I have nothing to say, be careful." "You..." Uncle Divine Beast glared at Tan Wu angrily. Tan Wu smiled faintly. "Uncle, you can be considered to have watched them grow up. Don't you know their personalities?" Uncle Divine Beast's expression froze. The Hell God Hound also nodded. Instead of trying to stop them, it's better to encourage them. Uncle Divine Beast smiled bitterly. Indeed, after knowing each other for so many years, he should have long understood the temperament of these 2 little guys. Since they were young, they didn't know what the word give up meant. As long as they set their mind on something, they would always move towards this goal, no matter how difficult the journey was. Taking a deep breath, Uncle Divine Beast looked at the man and wolf and transmitted his voice. "Since the thunder punishment stairway hides good fortune, then you can only succeed and not fail." Of course, Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf nodded, then looked at Qi Xiong and the others. Qi Xiong and the others were puzzled. What were these people muttering about? "We're going to the thunder punishment stairway, but we have 2 conditions," Qin said. "We're really going?" Qi Xiong and the others were stunned. "What's going on?" Why are they going to the thunder punishment heavenly stairway? The other clans, the Cheelans. The lightning punishment heavenly stairs was an extremely dangerous place for their Cheelan clan. When this name was mentioned, they would tremble with fear. However, this man and wolf actually took the initiative to go to the lightning punishment heavenly stairs. T's SS. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Princess Fire Phoenix was so angry that she was trembling. She said angrily, "How stupid. Gutsy." Qi Xiong's laughter followed. Qin Feiyang and the others looked at Qi Xiong. Qi Xiong praised, "Putting everything else aside, just this point alone is enough to make me admire you too. Then shouldn't we show a flattered expression to cooperate with you?" The white-eyed wolf looked at him mockingly. Qi Xiong's smile froze. They were really making things difficult for him, not giving him any face. He asked, "Since you don't want to listen, I'm too lazy to talk nonsense. Say it, what are your conditions?" Qin Feiyang said, "First, if we succeed, let me and the white-eyed wolf inherit your Cheelan clan's 2 great forbidden techniques." What? They're still thinking about our Cheelan clan's 2 great forbidden techniques. What a joke. Even we don't have the qualifications to inherit the super forbidden technique, the Cheelan divine realm. 2 outsiders want to inherit the forbidden technique. What a fantasy. As soon as these words came out, the whole place was in an uproar. They all stared angrily at the white-eyed wolf and Qin Feiyang. Second condition. When we succeed, you, Qi Xiong, must kneel in front of us in public and kowtow to us 3 times. Qin Feiyang spoke again. This was not the slightest bit of mercy. There was no need to show mercy to such a malicious person. If it weren't for the fact that Qin Feiyang didn't know that this was actually Qi Yu's idea, he wouldn't even let Qi Yu go. Qi Xiong's face immediately darkened. His eyes were burning with anger. They actually wanted to humiliate him in public? "Father, they can't succeed. What are you afraid of?" Qi Yu laughed secretly. "That's true." Qi Xiong nodded and smiled. "Do you think the thunder punishment stairway is a joke? You want the 2 great forbidden techniques of the Cheelan clan and want him to kneel and kowtow in public? Dream on." "Okay. I agree to the second condition." Qi Xiong looked at Qin Feiyang and laughed straightforwardly. "What about the first condition?" Qin Feiyang asked. "I can't make the decision on this matter." Qi Xiong shook his head. "I agree." Suddenly, a hoarse voice sounded from a distant mountain peak. "The Cheelan Lord. He is actually paying attention to the situation here." As soon as this voice came out, the whole place was in an uproar. The Cheelan Lord? Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf were shocked and hurriedly looked in the direction of the voice. However, it was too far away and they couldn't see anything. Qi Ji took a deep breath, looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf and said, "Since even the ancestor has agreed, let's do it." "Wait. I have something to say." Suddenly, Princess Huafeng stood up. Everyone couldn't help but look at Princess Huafeng. "You guys are playing with Qin Feiyang and the golden-winged wolf king. Whether it is the forbidden techniques of the Feng people or the forbidden techniques of your Cheelan clan and the dragons, they all require the same bloodline power to be passed down. And Qin Feiyang and the golden-winged wolf king don't have the bloodline power of the Cheelan clan. How can they pass down the 2 great forbidden techniques?" Princess Huafeng said. "There's such a thing?" Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf raised their eyebrows. Qi Xiong and the others looked at Princess Huafeng with killing intent in their eyes. What a meddlesome woman. Princess Huafeng looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf and secretly said, "Would I lie to you guys? It's absolutely true. Fuck. I was almost tricked by them. And this Cheelan clan master, they actually joined forces to trick us?" The white-eyed wolf was instantly furious. "Although I can't pass down the forbidden techniques of the Cheelan clan, I still have other forbidden techniques. If they really succeed in reaching the top, it means that they are indeed extraordinary. Why can't I give them a forbidden technique?" The Cheelan clan master's voice sounded again. Princess Huafeng's pupils shrank. To be able to receive a reward from the Cheelan clan master was the glory of a genius. She really didn't expect the Cheelan clan master to be so generous. Qi Xiong looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf and sneered. "You guys won't doubt the old ancestor's words, right? Of course. What kind of existence is the Cheelan clan master? Why would he deceive us juniors?" However, Qin Feiyong looked up at the mountain peak and said loudly, Qilin Clan Master, what I said is not an ordinary forbidden technique, but a super forbidden technique. It's a deal. The hoarse voice sounded again. Straightforward. Qin Feiyong laughed and turned to look at Qi Xiong and the others. Please lead the way. So anxious to die? Qi Xiong sneered secretly and turned to the northwest with Qi Yefeng and the others. Qin Feiyong, the white-eyed wolf, the fire Qilin, Tan Wu, the divine beast uncle, and the hell god hound immediately followed. Sister, what should we do? Pyrotechnic Glow said telepathically. I have already advised them, but they are the ones who insist. Princess Huifeng snorted and also led the Daifuka brothers and Pyrotechnic Glow to chase after Qin Feiyong and the others. Qi Ji looked at the backs of Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf, and his eyes flickered. He suddenly asked, Old Bai, why are they so determined to go to the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs? When the white-bearded old man heard this, his eyes flickered slightly, and he laughed hoarsely. Maybe it's because of their unwillingness to admit defeat. Unwillingness to admit defeat, Qi Ji murmured. The more others can't succeed, the more they want to try. In fact, many young people nowadays are like this. They have a competitive heart. The white-bearded old man laughed. Is that so? Why do I feel that you are not telling the truth? Qi Ji looked at the white-bearded old man with deep meaning. Because he believed that Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf were not such impulsive people, and they would not take such a big risk because of their so-called competitive spirit. The white-bearded old man's pupils shrank, and he asked suspiciously, Why do you say that? Because you are the only one who has successfully reached the top. I believe that other than the ancestor, no one knows the situation of the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs better than you. Even now I still remember that after you successfully reached the top, you sat at the top of the stairs for 3 whole years. The moment you woke up, you couldn't help but raise your head and laugh. After knowing you for so many years, this is the first time I have seen you so happy. Qi Ji transmitted. How can I not be happy after reaching the top and surviving a calamity? The white-bearded old man laughed hoarsely. Let's hope that is the case. After all, you are Xiaoyun's master. I also treat you as my big brother. I sincerely hope that you are not hiding anything from us. A smile appeared on Qi Ji's face as he flew toward the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs. The white-bearded old man looked at Qi Ji's back before raising his head to look at the peak where the Qilin master was. He shook his head and smiled bitterly. It was not that he did not want to say anything, but there were some things that one had to muster the courage to face personally. Only then would one be able to know the secrets hidden within. Only then would one have a chance to obtain the fortune. If one did not even have the courage to face it, what qualifications did one have to obtain the fortune? In fact, in the past, he had also hinted to Qi Xiaoyun that he should try the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs if he had the chance. But due to the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs' reputation, not only did Qi Xiaoyun refuse to go, but Qi Ji also disagreed. What could he do? Could it be that he had to hold a knife to their necks and force them to go up the lightning punishment stairway? If that was the case, Qi Ji would fall out with him. What should we do? Of course we have to go and take a look. I am really looking forward to seeing how those 2 arrogant bastards will die. After the big shots left, the Qilin clansmen also started heading toward the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs in a grandiose manner. Qi Xiong's group was not the only one. Even these people felt that Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf were courting death by challenging the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs. Chapter 36-28. Whoosh! In a certain courtyard, a red figure streaked across the sky and landed in the courtyard. Littling, why are you in such a hurry? Qi Xiaoyun was still alone in the tea garden, patiently pruning the leaves. It was as if nothing in this world could affect his calm state of mind. When he sensed the aura of the woman in red, he asked with a smile without even turning his head. Young master, can you not be so serious? Be serious? Xiaoying said angrily when he saw Qi Xiaoyun's calm and aloof attitude. What are you talking about? Qi Xiaoyun's arm trembled slightly as he asked doubtfully, What's wrong? Why are you so angry? Little Ying's face darkened as she asked, Young master, are you not concerned about the battle at the River of Stars? The outcome is already within my expectations. Why should I be concerned? Qi Xiaoyun smiled faintly. All right then. Tell me who won. Little Ling asked angrily. Qi Xiaoyun stood before a tea tree and slowly pruned away an extra branch. He smiled and said, naturally, it was Qin Feiyong and Goldwing Wolf King. Ah! Little Ling looked at Qi Xiaoyun in astonishment. Qin Feiyong has 3,000 clones, the Eye of Heaven, the Slaughter Domain, and is already a peak sovereign. His strength is no longer what it used to be. As for Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng, although they both have 6 profundities, just the Eye of Heaven is enough to make up for Qin Feiyong's disadvantage. As for forbidden arts, the Eye of Heaven can also be duplicated. Therefore, Qin Feiyong won't be defeated even if he wants to. Qi Xiaoyun chuckled. Little Ling sank into silence. Am I right? Qi Xiaoyun asked with a smile. I don't know either. Senior Bai sealed the entrance to the River of Stars. Apart from the Patriarch and the others, nobody knows about the battle at the River of Stars. However, when they came out, Qin Feiyong and Goldwing Wolf King were unharmed. Moreover, Goldwing Wolf King has also broken through to the peak sovereign realm. As for Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng, both of them have lost their physical bodies. I guess it's as you guessed. Xiaoying frowned. Even though the truth was right in front of her eyes, she was still unwilling to believe it. How could someone who had just broken through to the perfection sovereign realm defeat a super expert of their Qilin clan? After a long silence, Qi Xiaoyun smiled and said, Little Ling, remember what I said today. Don't underestimate anyone in this world. Yes. Xiaoying nodded respectfully and said, they are now going to the Thunder Punishment Heavenly Stairs. Lightning Punishment Stairway. Qi Xiaoyun's body stiffened when he heard those words. Xiaoying said, the super forbidden technique that Qin Feiyong mentioned in his conversation with the old ancestor was their wager for the Lightning Punishment Heavenly Stairs. Lightning Punishment Stairway to Heaven, Qi Xiaoyun muttered. Qin Feiyong wasn't such an impulsive person, otherwise, he wouldn't have survived until now under the pursuit of the dragons. Furthermore, a super forbidden technique was not worth risking his life for. Because to Qin Feiyong, the value of a super forbidden art wasn't that great. The Eye of Heaven could duplicate all forbidden arts. There had to be something else hidden in there. A trace of fear appeared in Little Ying's eyes. He shook his head and said, back then, Old Bai almost lost his life several times when he climbed the Lightning Punishment Heavenly Stairs. Even now, I still can't help but feel afraid. Master. When Qi Xiaoyun heard that, he had an idea. His calm eyes glowed as he said, go take a look at the Lightning Punishment Heavenly Stairs. Okay. Little Ling nodded and flew away. Qi Xiaoyun looked up at the sky and muttered, Master, you have hinted at me several times to go to the Lightning Punishment Heavenly Stairs. I have already sensed that you were hinting at something. I have been pondering over it, but I have never been able to figure it out. Looks like this time, I will be able to solve the doubts in my heart. Qilin Sacred Ground. Northwest. There was a barren mountain range here. Not a single plant could be found, and the entire place was filled with an aura of death and destruction. Moreover, one could clearly see the inner region from here. In other words, this mountain range was close to the inner region. At the center of the mountain range, there was a square that was about 1,000 zhang wide. It looked like a huge altar. A layer of black stones covered the altar. They had long been eroded by the passage of time, and were emitting an ancient aura. At the center of the square, there was a stone staircase. The stone staircase was about 5 meters wide, and each step was half a qi tall. 999 steps led to the sky, and the staircase was covered with boundless blood-red lightning. It emitted an aura of destruction that made people stop when they looked at it. However, the aura was outside the square and could not be sensed. Swish! Qin Feiyong and his group flew over like lightning and landed in front of the square. They raised their heads and looked at the stairway to heaven. Huh! The white-eyed wolf was surprised. The entire staircase was covered in blood-red lightning. But why couldn't they sense any aura? Qi Yu looked at the staircase and sneered. He turned to Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf and said, Qin Feiyong, Goldwing Wolf King, it's too late to regret now. Please. Be careful. The Fire Qilin, Tan Wu and Cerberus warned. Okay. Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf nodded. They glanced at Qi Xiong and the others, then stepped on the stairs and walked into the square. The moment they entered the square, a terrifying aura of destruction suddenly shrouded them like a tide. The man and the wolf trembled and immediately felt a strong sense of crisis. They could not sense any aura outside the square. Inside the square, waves were rolling. Was there an invisible boundary around the square that blocked the aura of the thunder tribulation? But when they stepped into the square, they did not encounter any boundary. Was it man-made? Suddenly, the man and the wolf looked at each other, and the same thought appeared in their minds at the same time. Was the aura of the thunder tribulation controlled by someone? If so, how terrifying was the strength of this person? Was it the owner of the Qilin? Little Qinzi, look at the top of the staircase. Suddenly, the white-eyed wolf's eyes were fixed on the top of the staircase, and there was a trace of surprise on his face. Qin Feiyong looked up, and there was a trace of suspicion on his face. The entire staircase was submerged by the thunder tribulation, but there was no trace of the thunder tribulation at the top of the staircase. Instead, there was a dark cloud that covered half of the sky, and, as the dark clouds continued to surge, they seemed to transform into many ancient giant beasts, emitting an aura that made one's heart palpitate. Don't tell me there's something terrifying hidden in these dark clouds. The white-eyed wolf swallowed and said, "Don't scare yourself." Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes, took out his horsetail whisk and said, "Follow the white-eyed wolf." Swish! The horsetail whisk disappeared into the white-eyed wolf's body. In case there was any danger, the sovereign divine weapon could help. Then, Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf took out their interspatial rings and sent them to the castle. After they were fully prepared, the man and the wolf took a deep breath and finally stepped forward, step by step toward the staircase. Sovereign divine weapons are not allowed to enter the thunder tribulation staircase. But before they got close to the staircase, the Lord of Kylan's voice sounded again. As the Lord of Kylan's voice fell, a blood-red lightning fell from the staircase in front of Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf. Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf couldn't help but stop. Looking at the blood-red lightning in front of them, they raised their eyebrows. If you want to use your sovereign divine weapons, you'd better admit defeat. Qi Xiong sneered. Admit defeat? The man and the wolf snorted and shouted, "Sword of Thanatos, horsetail whisk, wait outside." Clang! The two sovereign divine weapons immediately flew out of their bodies and floated in front of the entrance of the square. Qin Feiyong glanced at Qi Xiong and the others, then looked at the two sovereign divine weapons and said, "While the white-eyed wolf and I are climbing the staircase, if anyone dares to do anything, don't show any mercy. Just kill without mercy." "Okay." The sword of Thanatos' artifact spirit replied. "Let's go." Qin Feiyong retracted his gaze and stepped forward again. The blood-red lightning in front of him automatically dispersed. Soon, the man and the wolf walked to the bottom of the staircase. They ignored the terrifying aura and directly stepped onto the first step. The moment they stepped onto the staircase, countless blood-red lightning fell and drowned the man and the wolf. "You're worried that we'll do something? We've already stepped onto the staircase. Do we still need to worry? Just wait and see. Soon you'll see how terrifying the thunder tribulation staircase is. By then it'll be too late for regrets." Qi Xiong and Qi Yefeng glanced at the two sovereign divine weapons at the entrance of the square, then looked at Qin Feiyong and the white-eyed wolf. They couldn't help but sneer in their hearts. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.